Welcome to Eternal Rambles, where the Eternals ramble eternally. My name's Aaron.
And I'm Kodig.
And it has been a while, but it will continue to be a while, because honestly, we don't know nobody knows what the future holds. What we do know is we are back, and we are talking about childhood cartoons once again. Not necessarily child, they can be more modern, but the thing is, we're talking about Nickelodeon specifically.
And this is the beginning of a 3-part series that we're doing on channels that we watched as kids. You know, the first episode obviously is Nickelodeon.
Second one's probably going to be Cartoon Network.
And then Disney.
And then almost also assuredly, like our last 3-part series, there will be another podcast that has nothing to do right in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the Eternal Rambles, where we kind of jump back and forth.
Will the Eternals ramble eternally?
Yeah,
that's the introduction.
Depending on which Eternals decide to show up.
Yeah, our present. Yep. Yeah, Ryan is once again absent. Not really his fault. He just has a different work schedule than the rest of us. But don't you worry, the old standbys are here. I was going to say something else, but I decided not to, because that's not quite something you want to say on the internet. Probably I don't think we need to do this in a chronological order or anything like that.
No.
Just whatever we want to talk to. And we are going to start with the biggie, because it's the biggest one out there, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender, which we're going to talk about very briefly, because that is a podcast on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely remember watching Avatar when it first came out.
Really interesting, because actually I didn't watch Avatar until season 2 came out. And this is a very interesting story, because Aaron actually knows my dad. Like, he's met my dad on a couple of occasions. And you're gonna find funny about this is I actually didn't like Avatar when it first came out. It was literally
heresy.
My dad that got me into the show, because my dad fell in love with the show. And then I started watching it because he started watching it, and then I fell in love with it.
I mean, I guess it's kind of, I can't really say anything, because I used to not like anime of any kind, and then eventually watched Dragon Ball Z Kai, and now Dragon Ball is my favorite show ever. So different reasons, different situations, obviously, but not liking a show, then coming around to it, always ideal than just never liking a show.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of those shows where it's just now I came into it around season 2, and it's funny because season 2 is actually, the beginning of season 2 is my least favorite part of the entirety of Avatar.
Really?
Yeah, okay, so, the entirety of... So, I used to binge watch, I still do it. I binge watch Avatar: The Last Airbender once a year, the entire series, right? All 3 seasons, that's a whole lot. And so I binge watch it, and every time I want to skip that entire section where they're in the desert.
That's not in the beginning.
It's towards the beginning.
No, it's not. It's after they have Toph and everything.
But it's 8 episodes in.
That's midway through the season.
Yeah, I did. I just don't like it. I don't like the part where they're in the desert. That whole part where they're missing Appa, I just really don't like.
Isn't that only just one episode?
No, it's
No, because there's one episode with them in the library, second episode with them getting through the desert, and the third one they're out of the desert.
So it's 3 or 4 episodes.
But
and then you have the episode of just Appa.
Yeah, Appa. I was gonna say Appa alone, but no, that's Zuko alone.
Yeah.
Appa's a different thing. If there is one episode I feel like you can skip, zero issue. Well, I think there are 2. Which is The Great Divide in season 1.
Oh, but that's so good, though.
But I feel like it's a very skippable
You get to see Toph kiss Zuki, or Suki.
No.
Yeah.
The Great Divide, where Aang is escorting 2 Earth Kingdom tribes through the Grand Canyon to get to Ba Sing Se.
I'm thinking of the Serpent Pass.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, totally. Skip that one.
Yeah, you can skip that. And the second one is the Tales of Ba Sing Se. That episode is just mini vignettes of each of the characters.
You cannot skip that.
You totally can skip that.
You cannot skip
100%,
that. 100%. Leaves through the vine. You cannot skip that.
You can skip it, and some things where it's you can skip it.
Sokka rhymes with something.
Honestly, I skipped that one. I'm not a huge fan of that one. I'm the guy who's he can't stand cringe comedy, and there's too much cringe in that episode, so I skip it. That's fine.
That's fair.
The 2 most impactful, obviously number 1 is Iroh. And number 2, it's gotta be Katara and Toph have to be the second most impactful.
Oh, I hated that one.
Really?
I hated that one.
So sweet.
I hated that one.
It's it's a good thing about being blind, because I don't care what I look like, because I can't see it.
I fucking hate it.
Really?
Because I hate seeing Toph and Katara in that stupid makeup.
I mean,
It looks
there's
awful.
a reason for it.
It looks awful.
Well, the thing is that the whole thing where Toph's like, well, Katara, I feel pretty for once, and then immediately gets shit-talked by some girls. And so Toph then, freaking drops them in a river, and then Katara sends them downstream. Come on.
I just don't like that part of the episode. Like, obviously, Iroh's is my favorite, and then it's Zuko's.
Oh,
and
yeah, I forget Zuko going on the date.
Yeah, and then there's Momo's, where it's just like that mental break of like...
You see Momo just chasing after, like, trying to...
Like, just, like, hoping it's Appa, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
Sad times.
It's like the saddest one.
Did you hear about that thing? Apparently, like Momo was originally supposed to be like the spirit of Monkiatsu or something like that, and they just scrapped it. It's like Momo's just a monkey.
You're shitting me.
I've heard. I can't confirm that, or I haven't seen anything official, but I heard about that. And I'm like, I'm so glad if that was an original plan, they just didn't. That makes so much more sense. Momo's just a monkey. So I looked up on Nickelodeon their shows. You want to know the first thing that's on it?
Well, mine is SpongeBob.
Oh, because I'm actually on Nickelodeon itself, and the first one is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I fucking love that show.
Never seen it.
I kid you not. Okay, so this is a weird thing. So this is actually, I know a little bit about this, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things about the Alvin and the Chipmunks show, right, is it's French Canadian, I think, or a French animation show.
Well, that's
kind of like
it's not uncommon that there's.
No, it's not. But a lot of people associate those with like lesser quality shows.
Incorrect.
And my thing about it is I actually love that show because it's like it tells that perfect series of like modern comedy, but without making it, stupid. But it is kind of stupid, but in a good way, and I absolutely love it. Now, I can understand a lot of people's complaints with the character design because they look like human children.
Kind of creepy looking.
Yeah, they look like human children, but like half chipmunk, and it's really strange.
Yeah.
But it's great, and I love it because I just love Alvin and the Chipmunks. Anything to do with Alvin and the Chipmunks, I absolutely love. I love the movies. I love the original '80s cartoon or '90s cartoon. I love Alvin and the Chipmunks. I binge watched the entire series when it was free on Hulu, I think. And I just, oh my god, I fell in love with it. It was excellent show. Now, I've always been a guy, or the kind of person that just loves it whenever they do the whole like romance thing, like they did in the second movie between Alvin and
very interesting.
what's her face?
Alvin and Brittany.
Yeah, Brittany. Now they didn't do that in the show. There was like little moments
because it's Brittany, Eleanor, and Jeanette.
I don't know. It's been a while. But there's always these little moments where like, they kind of hint at it, but they're like,
Well, they're like
they're high schoolers. They're high schoolers.
in what?
In the show.
Well, they go to high.
No, they're high schoolers.
I guess within the lifespan of a chipmunk.
Yeah, like, they're high schoolers. They're not elementary. They're high schoolers.
So I want to find this very interesting actually, real fast. Is like I'm looking at, like I said, all shows because I'm on Nickelodeon website. It says all shows, which is Alvin and the Chipmunks.
This is not all shows.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Big Nate, which like when your nephew was over the other day, like I watched a couple episodes with him.
My nephew?
Yeah.
I don't have a nephew.
Midget? Munchkin?
My cousin?
I be your cousin. I don't know your family relations. The small boy that often comes over when you're.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, you were asleep and he was in the living room watching TV. So like I put it on Paramount Plus, Nickelodeon. He picked Big Nate, watched a couple episodes. It's fine. It's fine.
Big Nate?
Big Nate. It's fine.
You know what show that I
and before it was like it's the Casagrid. I apologize for not being. I have no idea how to pronounce this. Casagrandes, I think is how you. Never heard of it. Danger Force is a live action one. Don't know what that is. Fairly Odd Parents.
Okay, so Fairly Odd Parents, I guess.
Henry Danger. iCarly. Camp Coral, which is SpongeBob's Under Years, I guess.
Don't fucking mention that shit to me.
The Loud House.
I've heard a lot of things about The Loud House.
Middlemost Post, which looks, honestly, by looking at that, I would have thought that would have been on Cartoon Network, just like the art style and that's what it looks like. Huh. Monster High. Monster High the movie. It's not a TV show. So
No.
whoever's categorizing this.
Terrible.
NFL Slime Time.
That's why I go to Wiki, not Nickelodeon.
But that's like, this is the official Nickelodeon website, though, where it's like, Nick News, Nick Shorts Showcase, The Patrick Star Show, awful, the really Loud House, which is the live-action version of the Loud House cartoon based upon the imagery, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Rugrats, but the 3D version, by looking at the artwork, Side Hustle, The Smurfs, which was a Cartoon Network Boomerang thing, so now it being Nickelodeon,
I don't know.
SpongeBob SquarePants, Star Trek Prodigy, which I've seen ads for but never actually watched, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 3D CGI one, That Girl Lele, The Thundermans, which I have heard of before but never seen.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Tuned In with Jerry Trainer, Transformers Earthspark, which is on Paramount Plus by looking at the it's Paramount Plus original, which I don't know why it's on Nickelodeon, but whatever.
Well, because Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon have like this thing.
Tyler Perry's Young Dylan, Victorious, and Zoe 101.
But not Drake and Josh?
Yeah, so like that's a very weird conglomeration of shows being like all shows, because it's like iCarly, Victorious, Zoe 101.
Those shows haven't been on for a while.
For a while, yeah.
And iCarly is on, but like it's a remake, and it's not for kids.
Yeah, but like that artwork that I saw, like the post art was for like the original iCarly.
Yeah, so like
it's
what the fuck?
Whoever's categorizing the Nickelodeon website, like the website and all shows, I think you need to go through that again and like change some of them.
So we're gonna go through. Right.
Wikipedia,
yeah. And we're going to go down this list.
I wanted to point that out because that was weird.
Now, I'm going to start off with one thing, because the first thing, obviously, is SpongeBob, right?
I'm not a huge fan of SpongeBob.
Now, I'm going to say one thing.
I find very annoying at times. There are episodes that I have seen that I have liked, but especially more modern SpongeBob, I did not like because they made Patrick a jackass.
Yeah, no, okay, so original SpongeBob, OG SpongeBob, first 3 seasons. First 3 seasons of SpongeBob are legitimately good, and I would say that it's perfectly watchable from anyone, even if you're not a big fan of SpongeBob as a whole. But like the first 3 seasons, definitely give it a watch, you know. After that, it kind of goes downhill a little bit, but like it gets really good all the way up until the point where Steven Hillenburg died. Mm-hmm. When Steven Hillenburg died, Nickelodeon fucked up. All right. So one of Steven Hillenburg's...
The bank account wouldn't agree with that assessment.
No, this is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about from a financial
standpoint. From an entertainment standpoint.
I'm talking about from a fan base standpoint. Here's what they did, right? Steven Hillenburg had one thing about SpongeBob, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the fact that he never wanted SpongeBob to have a spinoff.
Yeah.
He wanted SpongeBob to be its own thing. And he said, and he flat out said, it's like, as long as I'm alive, SpongeBob will never have a spinoff. Mm-hmm. And days after people found out that he died, they came out with the new SpongeBob spinoff series.
Because you know for a fact they already had everything prepped. They were just waiting.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just a piece of shit move on my part. Now, I know we're talking about Nickelodeon here, but I have to say that's just horrible, and I refuse to talk about either one of those 2 shows.
Okay.
And we can talk about SpongeBob, but like those other 2 shows...
Well, I don't know shit about either, so...
Yeah. Now, the only thing we're going to say about SpongeBob is like, I like SpongeBob, Aaron doesn't really like SpongeBob.
There are, like, I will say, it's the same thing that I give Family Guy. Overall, I do not like this show. Show me isolated clips, I think it can be very funny.
Yeah, exactly. And like I'll watch. I can sit down and watch SpongeBob for a while, but like after a while, it kind of gets old. But like the SpongeBob movie, like
the movies, I think are a lot better.
Yeah, like the first SpongeBob movie, I thoroughly enjoyed. And I remember because the SpongeBob movie, when I was a little kid, my cousin had a GameCube, right, with 2 games on it. No, 3 games. She had 2 games. It was 3. Mario Kart Double Dash. A Super Monkey Ball, and SpongeBob the movie, the video game. And I played the shit out of that video game. But here's the thing. She didn't have a save card on that GameCube.
Of course.
So I literally just had to sit there and try to get as far as I possibly could in the video game.
Oh, that's funny. That's how it was with Kingdom Hearts. My sister, because she wanted to get her PS2, she didn't have a memory card for it, so it's just like, I would just never get past Clayton. Because like getting to it was one thing, but because like I was kind of trying to get as far as I could, Clayton's kind of that wall for the first part of the game. You try to beat it and get over it. Don't have that issue anymore, clearly, but like as a kid with that memory card, that would always be like their hurdle.
Yes.
I was proud about it because my sister couldn't get past Clayton either. So the day I got past him, I was like, yeah.
And then you couldn't get past him again.
No, I could.
Because the memory card.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, but like eventually I got my own like memory card, you know. But no, I am no stranger to just trying to get as far as you can in a video game without the ability to save.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't really have to worry about that anymore with modern consoles, but like, man.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
No, but yeah, no, SpongeBob, I love the movies. The show is great. But it's not really something we can talk about too much just because, you know, Aaron only has like a passing interest in it.
Very one-sided conversation.
Exactly.
I will say, actually, bring it the SpongeBob SquarePants musical. Very good. I have a history of theater and musicals, so like I can appreciate a live performance, and the SpongeBob SquarePants musical is really good. If you have Paramount Plus, want to check it out, recommended. It's fun. It's not like I know. Look, I was watching it with my brother the other day with his roommates. Well, they weren't watching. They kind of just came in. It was like, what the heck? Why isn't the news anchor guy sideways? It's like, because he's a person, and he can't just like come out on a boom lift to deliver the thing. He's got to dance and stuff. I mean, it's a live performance on a stage. It's got a budget, guys. Jeez Louise.
All right, so next down on the list, because this is programming that's still on, apparently.
Oh,
current programming.
Okay.
Next up on the list is something that I don't think either of us has much to say about, but all I can say is I've heard a lot about it, is The Loud House.
Yeah, I've heard about The Loud House.
So I've seen it, and it seems like something that I would actually be interested in watching.
Yeah, because it is the whole thing where isn't like a...
It's like one boy and like 7 or 8 sisters, which is like totally you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me having 3 sisters growing up.
Yeah. There's just like having all of the sisters, you know, so it's like, it's something that I'm definitely interested in watching. It's just like, it's probably on Paramount Plus.
Probably.
Because, you know, they have a whole thing with Nickelodeon, so like, I'll probably end up watching it, and then if we both enjoy it enough, we might just come back and do a podcast on it.
I don't know. I think it would be like, we would do
it depends on how, like, good it actually is.
I doubt we would have an entire podcast just about that show.
Yeah, well, we could come back and like
do
revisit
do
some of the
two, having seen some of the more modern stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's the interesting thing. Is like, 'cause I've seen like some of the stuff going on like Cartoon Network, Disney, Nickelodeon. Very few of it catches my eye as something. Oh, that could be something interesting.
Yeah.
The Loud House, I don't think is like. I was like, oh, that looks dumb. I was like, it looks fine.
Well, my thing is,
like, I probably 100% would be watching it if I was a kid nowadays.
Well,
but
here's
like,
the thing that
there's
I have
nothing
with,
about it that grabs me.
Here's the thing that I have with the Loud House. You know how like you have those certain cartoons that, you know, just have that certain feel of like they're like a big thing. Like for example, like, I mean, maybe not for you because you didn't like these shows, but like Amazing World of Gumball or Adventure Time or Steven Universe, they had a thing in Cartoon Network where it's like, yeah, they had a bunch of other shows going on at the time, but they were like the big thing.
Well, like,
you know
like back in the day, like the Ben 10, something
exactly.
That
it's
was like the
like,
spearhead for
exactly
Cartoon Network back
at the time, and then it was it's Adventure Time, and then Amazing World of Gumball, and Steven Universe is there. It's a big thing, but it's like, you know, it's kind of in its own little separate thing. But we're not talking about Cartoon Network here.
No, I think
but
it's one of those things with Nickelodeon. Like, I think with my no experience and just guessing based upon the list of cartoons that I have seen, I would probably guess The Loud House is probably one of the big, like, cartoons on Nickelodeon right now, because like that's what comes in on these cartoon viewing channels.
Yeah.
They usually have like 2 or 3 big shows that tend to, like, you know, basically lift up the time block.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have like, you have Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then Danny Phantom, and then Drake and Josh, and it's like so that for that whole like 2-hour period, like, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have the views. The Loud House maybe could be. I don't know. we don't have cable, so I can't even really guess like what time it's on and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's the issue with modern,
So we're gonna skip over a few of these next shows.
because they're just like,
Well, because it's like It's Pony, Camp Corral, The Patrick Show, Middlemost Post, which I don't even know what the fuck that is.
yeah,
Rugrats 2021.
which we have not seen.
Apparently they've rebooted Rugrats.
Well,
I don't know how
wasn't
to
even
feel
a
about
hu- like, no
that.
offense, but I was not even a huge fan of the original Rugrats. So
Well,
like,
as a
liked-
child,
I liked All Grown Up more than I liked Rugrats.
I never watched All Grown Up as a kid.
I thought it was more interesting. As
Well,
Rugrats.
the only thing that I ever watched of Rugrats was the movie.
Did the two movies?
Yeah, like because I used to have the orange VHS, like the old orange VHS tape.
Yeah.
And we would watch it on the VCR all the time. So
Like,
it's like,
Rugrats was one of those shows that I would have on, but wouldn't necessarily be watching. I'd be waiting.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
be waiting for the next show.
Exactly.
But I wouldn't turn it off for Rugrats was on, but I wouldn't necessarily be watching the TV.
no, speaking of, like, I remember, so there was 2 shows that would come on before I went to school as a kid. And I would flip back and forth between them because it's like we would always wake up about 40 minutes before it was time to go to school, and these episodes would always finish right when we were going to school, and that
Right
was
before Pokemon turned on.
it was Pokemon, which came on at like 7 a.m. And we went to school at like 7:30, 7:40 or something like that is when we left, and so I would watch Pokemon and then go to school, or I would watch Avatar: The Last Airbender and go to school because it came on just before it came time to go to school. So I would sometimes I'd wake up another because like they would show 2 episodes, but I would only catch the second one. Sometimes I'd wake up even earlier just to watch the other episode, especially whenever the 2-parters going on. It was just fantastic.
Yeah.
But the other new shows, Star Trek Prodigy, which you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
which I don't know anything about. I don't give 2 shits about Star Trek.
Star Trek Prodigy looks like it's a teenage like Star Trek crew because they're prodigies and it could be fine. Like I haven't seen anything, but I've just seen ads.
I just
But
don't care about Star Trek.
I might make Ryan watch it because he's a Star Trek fan, and then like gives like, hey, is this a yay or an A? Because don't watch Star Trek, let alone a Prodigy.
All right, so I'm not talking about either of these.
We'll still say them. So
So you have, okay, so after that you have Big Nate, Monster High, Transformers, Earthspark, Tyler Perry's Young Dylan, Danger Force, which I've seen a little bit of, but it's kind of
it's
whatever.
a live action one.
Yeah, That Girl Lele. These are the live action ones.
Yeah.
The Really Loud House, which is like
The live action version of The Loud House, which is a weird
dumb.
choice.
Yeah. Apparently they have a new Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a new one. Yeah.
They have a new game show called Tuned In. Don't know what that is.
Well, it's with Jerry. It's with Jerry Springer.
All right, so these are preschool series, which we're just straight up not talking about.
What about Nick Jr.?
Because they're the modern preschool.
Oh, what are they?
Bubble Guppies,
I've heard about that.
Blaze and the Monster Machines,
I've not heard that one before.
Blues Clues and You, which I might actually be interested in.
Yeah, because that's like
it's Blues Clues.
Yeah, they bring it back. Like the Rainbow Puppy, which was in the movie.
Yeah, but I'm fine with Blues Clues just because it's like.
Because it's an extension of what we saw.
I'm getting fucking triggered right now just looking at this title.
What's it called?
Baby Shark's Big Show.
Oh no.
Oh no, as if parents didn't already have enough to worry about. Faces Music Party, which is just a weird name.
Yeah, it is a weird.
The Tiny Chef Show and Bossy Bear.
The Tiny
Chef Show. Yeah.
Interessante.
Educational series Kids Pick the President.
All right.
1988 is when that premiered, apparently.
1988. All right.
Apparently, it's still going. So
interesting.
Acquired programming, which I assume means brought over from other regions.
Probably.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, which is the Alvin and the Chipmunks,
the
and
French
then
one,
the Smurfs, which is acquired.
Okay.
Oh, no, fuck!
Oh, did you hit the button?
I hit a button.
Hit a button. Oh no.
Then you have the other preschool series, Paw Patrol.
My niece.
My cousin.
My niece
loves
Paw Patrol
Yeah.
so much.
Which is like, I get it.
It's fine.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's really good for kids. If I was a child,
Yeah.
I would like
Very
the show.
clearly for kids.
Like, I can sit there and, like, if my cousin is in the living room watching Paw Patrol, I can sit there and watch a show with him and be like, all right.
And be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's why
I'm not complaining.
This is
But Peppa Pig, however.
No, screw that show. Like, my sister and brother-in-law, very smart, because they rotate her through shows. Like it's like, oh, it's what she wants to watch, but like they rotated her through different shows. She's not watching the exact same show again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
It's like they showed her Teen Titans first, and then she wanted more, so they showed her Go, because she just wanted more Teen Titans. So,
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That you introduce them to the original,
and
then if they just happen to like Teen Titans Go,
yeah,
which we'll go to in more on the Cartoon Network. It
was the funniest thing though, is my brother-in-law is like, because I just caught an episode, like obviously she was watching it, and I made a comment. I was like, oh, it's like, oh, this is the original idea, jokingly. And oh yeah, they've already done this premise before like 3 times. Like they just like, this show's popular, so just like keep making episodes, even if they've already had the idea before, just doing it again.
No.
It's like, oh no. See, I hate when shows have to do that. This is not a...
Because the problem is Teen Titans Go with this...
It's not a when they do that, it's a when they have to do that. As in, the writers don't have any more ideas, but the studio keeps the show alive.
That's the biggest problem, is Teen Titans Go at this point, I'm pretty sure it has more seasons than Teen Titans.
Well, Teen Titans only had like 4 seasons.
5.
We only had like 4.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing about Teen Titans. I know Teen Titans, the Cartoon Network's another one, but like I will say this.
We're going to go deeper into it on that one.
Yeah, but I feel like it's so gypped because there are 5 Titans and there are 5 seasons, and each season is following a different protagonist, except you have 2 seasons that focus on Beast Boy as a character. So I think, because the first season is Robin. Second season, I'm pretty sure it's Cyborg.
And the third season is definitely Raven.
About Raven. And the second season I think is about Beast Boy. Third would be about Raven. Fourth is about Cyborg, and then fifth is about Beast Boy again, because it's the Doom Patrol.
And fuck Starfire, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Starfire doesn't get a season where she's the big climactic focus. She's that one episode where she gets a zit, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Blackfire shows up in a number of cases.
All right,
but that's not a season long.
All right, enough about Teen Titans.
Yeah,
We're gonna continue on that one when we go to the.
I know. This is a problem with us. We just trail off on things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, this show.
But I'm just trying to move on to the next list.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're off to former programming now. So we're gonna start. It goes in chronological order, starting with the first one.
Okay.
So it starts off with Doug, which I'd never seen.
I've seen Doug bits and pieces. It was fine. That was definitely a show my sisters watched more than I did.
Well, it's because they were like 90s. Came out in 91. Your sisters you were born in 95.
No, I was born in 97.
I'm thinking of Mad Dragon.
Yeah, no, he was born before I was.
So yeah, you were way young.
Yeah, but I still like caught episodes of Doug. It was,
yeah,
it was I think one of those more down to earth cartoons. Like they would tell stories that you could definitely do in live action, but like the animation is what.
So here's the thing.
Interested in it.
Here's the thing: is the next 3 shows.
He had a best friend who was blue for no reason.
Yeah, including Doug. The next 3 shows all aired at the exact same time,
okay.
which was August 11th of 1991.
Okay.
Right. So these were the first 3 shows that Nickelodeon ever had.
Okay.
Or at least cartoons. I don't know if like they were the first.
They had brought a lot of.
I'm pretty sure. These are the first 3 cartoons Nickelodeon ever had. Now I'm gonna name all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And you're going to tell me which one sticks out a little bit. All right?
Okay.
Doug, Rugrats, The Ren and Stimpy Show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very different.
Yeah, you know, drugs.
Freaky.
The show was that was definitely made on acid.
Definitely. I would definitely say Ren and Stimpy was a cartoon meant to be watched by kids, but their parents would actually find interesting.
My thing is like Ren and Stimpy was like I fucking hated it as a child.
Nightmare fuel.
I hated Ren and Stimpy.
Fuel.
That's the thing is like there was just so much like the animation was just gross.
Horrifying.
Yeah, I was just like I don't understand.
See, that was the thing with Billy and Mandy. Like, I
disagree.
Like
on that entirely.
See, I think this is the difference. Like me and you, like Ren and Stimpy and Rabbit vs. Billy and Mandy. I think our opinions are very switched because I thought Ren and Stimpy was actually very interesting, creative. I liked Stimpy a lot more.
Now I'll
Billy,
give you this.
Even though they were basically the same character.
Yeah, I will give you this.
Okay.
I fucking hate Billy.
Yeah.
But like Mandy and Grimm and every other character, I'm like, oh, I like this guy. But like Billy, I find him disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the time, like the reason why I would stop watching a Billy and Mandy show or episode would be because of Billy and his disgustingness.
But like, I think Ren and Stimpy had a much more interesting dynamic, which made, I think, is what also helped sell it for me. So can you guess the species of the 2 characters?
A cow and a chicken.
No, that's cow.
No, a chihuahua.
That's cow and chicken.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So Ren was a chihuahua and Stimpy was a cat.
He was a cat?
He was a cat.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I think that's so funny. It just reminds me of the whole thing with, like, oh, like, dog owner versus cat owner. Dog owner's like, oh, this is a purebred Siberian Husky with a little bit of... And her brother has a little bit of Malamute in her. I was like, cat owner's orange.
He's orange.
So you have Ren as a Chihuahua, and then Stimpy is a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we've already talked a little bit about Rugrats. It's not really
Rugrats
either
is
of our...
fine. Definitely cheap. Tara Strong. Stand strong with Tara Strong.
Yeah, exactly.
But... No, that wasn't Tara.
I went out to play...
That was Tara Strong. That's...
No, that was Tara Strong. She voiced the little baby.
She voiced Dill. I'm thinking of who voiced... Not Dill, no. Yeah, no, that Dill's the baby. Is the younger brother. Tommy was the older brother. That was voiced by a different actress. I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tara Strong still.
Tara Strong, yeah. No, well, here's the thing. It's a freaking. We're out to play. I was out playing Russian roulette with the lads. Oh, did you win? You don't know what Russian roulette is, do you?
Actually, in the episode, is that just a meme?
That's what I want to know, because it's been a long time.
It's just a meme. I don't think that's actually in an episode.
I would not be shocked, honestly, though.
Well, I don't,
because kids don't know what Russian roulette is.
I know, but remember but for my recollection of Tommy's grandfather as a character, I don't think he actually had that personality.
I don't know.
I don't think that's a real line.
All right. So
very funny though. I think the meme is funny, but I don't think that's an actual line.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going down the list. A few of these I might have seen but not remember.
Okay.
We have Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh yeah, I've seen bits of that.
I haven't. Aw, Real Monsters. Real Monsters.
No idea.
And then on October 7th, 1996, released Hey Arnold.
Yep, Hey Arnold was a show I guess I think people liked. I never really got the appeal of it.
Me neither.
Very confused
I never really got into Hey Arnold, but I hear a lot of people liked it, and it's like I've never met someone that actually liked Hey Arnold. I guess it's just one of those like...
The most significant thing I remember about Hey Arnold was Jello Apocalypse's original Welcome to Facebook, where he's like, everyone remembers Hey Arnold, but then like he did it like a rebooted version and he had to switch it to SpongeBob because not everyone knew what Hey Arnold was anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like the most significant thing I've heard about people talking about Hey Arnold.
Oh, let's see.
I don't hear people talking.
Next up is Kablam. And then this is one that I've heard of and I've seen a little bit as a kid. This came out the year you were born. April 19th, 1997. The Angry Beavers.
Yeah.
Now, I think that reminds me a lot of Ren and Stimpy.
I never watched it, but I know.
Yeah, that's another thing about me. I haven't watched it, but I know about it. Now, here is one that I know about and I loved as a kid. Mm-hmm. Came out in 1998. Mm-hmm. Cat Dog.
Cat Dog, I couldn't get into Cat Dog.
No, okay, so here's my thing. I didn't have a lot of cable growing up, so like I didn't get to really watch episodes of Cat Dog, but we had these 4 episodes of Cat Dog on a VHS tape as a kid, and I would just watch those 4 episodes a lot.
One episode,
you know what's funny about that? I don't remember those 4 episodes.
There is one episode of Cat Dog that I can recall, and it was like an episode about like there was a store that sold butts.
Yes.
And
they were trying to give themselves butts.
And Cat wanted to get like, you know, I can be a normal cat, and he can be a normal dog, but I want to be a cat dog. So they meet a cat who's like who shops all the time and just gets different butts, and like they're going to the trade. Like Cat is going to get like the bottom that the cat has, and then dog is gonna be. Like, oh, a cat dog? That sounds like an interesting thing. And then the end of the episode is like they decide not to do it. And it's like, the joke is, I decided to go for his 2-for-1 sale. And he's got 2 butts. I think that's about this peer of writing on Cat Dog. I don't think Cat Dog is bad. It was just not for me.
All right.
2 butts!
2 butts! Then we got the Wild Thornberries back in 1998.
Nigel Thornberry.
And then you had that one sister that like everyone found, you know, really hot as a kid.
I didn't find her hot. I found her annoying. But like she had all those, like, she was stuck in the wilderness with her family and she didn't really care.
Yeah.
So, like, she was, like, unfortunately the odd person out in her family because her parents were, like, zoologists or whatever. And then, like, the daughter whose name I cannot remember.
And the crazy son who's just like...
Yeah, who's like, just like
exactly.
And then, like, she could talk to animals. So, like, they're chimpanzees she could actually talk to or whatever. And she wasn't allowed to tell anyone she could talk to animals, though she would lose her power talking to animals, and that's like a big plot in the Thornberry movie. I remember watching the movie. I do not remember ever watching the cartoon.
I remember watching both, but I don't remember anything about them other than like the family dynamic.
The mom was the camera person, and the dad was like the host or something.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, but it's been a long time.
I've never actually seen the cartoon, like I said.
I don't know what this is. It's called Rocket Power.
Rocket Power was about a bunch of skateboarding kids.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
okay, yeah, so I've seen it.
It's funny, I combined the Rocket Power and the Weekenders in my head a lot, even though they're very distinctly different.
I combine Rocket Power and All Grown Up in my head a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I get those two mixed up all the time.
I never had that. It's like the whole thing was like the I guess because like the Weekenders like has like that teen, like not really extreme, but like the teenage desire to go out and do something.
So you want to know
and
my
Rocket
first
Power
introduction?
Is just like I don't want to say Rocket Power was actually like extreme, dude. I don't want
That's
to say
what it was.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I don't remember ever watching it. I just recognize the name. And
okay, so you want to know my dude? There's literally a drink in that show that's like, you know, it's like, remember Johnny Test with like the fucking the X drink or whatever, like
the only like cartoon soda I can remember is Purple Fleur from Jimmy Neutron.
Okay, then never mind. No, you want to know my first introduction to Rocket Power? As a kid, I had this computer game. Really shitty game. I actually have it on my PC now, but it's not working right now. It's not working right now. But it's this really shitty computer game that I played all the fucking time as a kid. It was called Nicktoons Basketball.
Interesting.
And one of the characters from Rocket Power is on there, that chick with the purple hair.
Probably the main girl.
Yeah, probably. And she's on there. And that was like, I was like, because I knew all the other characters, and I was like, who the fuck is this? Yeah, and I was like, and then that's how I discovered what the fuck Rocket Power was. Like, obviously, I didn't know the name of it, because obviously. But, like, you know, that was my first introduction to those characters.
Yeah. I would definitely, like, also, by the way, the reason why we're doing Nickelodeon first is because Nickelodeon is the channel the two of us watch the least. Mm-hmm. So it's not that we're saying, like, overall we hated the shows more. It was just, like, if I had to pick between the three channels to watch at once, like, for me, it was either Cartoon Network or Disney.
For me, it was usually just Cartoon Network. So that was my favorite.
That's why we're doing Nickelodeon first.
Or Disney Extreme.
Because we had Disney XD, Jetix. So that's why we're doing Nickelodeon first, just we have the least to say about it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be doing the exact same thing for all three, which is going through the shows. Also, we're doing Disney last, because Disney's going to have a bunch.
Yeah.
Because they have, like, 5 different channels.
So, like, I've never heard of this. It's called As Told by Ginger.
No idea.
Released the year I was born.
No idea.
Both these shows released on the exact same date, apparently.
All right.
On the exact same date, apparently. Mm-hmm. March 30th, 2001, released Invader Zim and Fairly Odd Parents.
Interesting.
They released on the same day.
So one of them was like the second most popular Nickelodeon show.
Is the second most popular.
And the other one
Nickelodeon
has like
show.
a huge cult following.
Exactly. So it's like, these are two really big ones. Now here's the thing. As a kid, I fucking hated Invader Zim.
It's a funny thing, like Invader Zim is like, I definitely found it really funny. I definitely liked the show. I could never sit through a full episode.
Yeah.
I got bored.
No, as I've grown older, like as a teenager, I started to love Invader Zim.
I
haven't really seen it all the way through.
In isolation, but like I could not just sit through an episode.
I haven't seen it all the way through, and I plan on doing it at some point. But you know, I just, as a kid, I fucking hated it.
The one episode I remember of Invader Zim actually watching the entire way through was like when like Dib embarrasses Zim in the cafeteria. So like Zim kidnaps him and puts him in like a Matrix thing. And like Dib lives through like a lifetime where he got superpowers and used them to like defeat the invaders' invasion. There's this whole life and shit. And then Zim at the very end pulls the rug out from underneath him and like embarrasses you. He was like, "Ha! It was me! Mashed potatoes! Get out of my house!" And Dib was like, "What?" The funniest part about that was because like, Dib has that like cowlick thing. Like as he got older, it just would get bigger and bigger. Like it's like whoa! That's the only episode I remember actually watching to fruition and being like, "This is a good episode. I like this episode." Because like Dib had a weird ass crazy sister who was like violent as hell. It's like very very murderous. with odd hair. You would probably like her.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
She wasn't a child.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. But
I was 1 when that show came out.
True.
I was a child. I was a child.
Yeah, but it was the thing about it where it's just weird. Like, you had Dib, who was like the only person who realized him was an alien, even though his dad was like this like world-renowned scientist or whatever. And then his sister, I think her name was Mads, who hated him, and so not quite like the same like Ed and Eddie like Sarah kind of way where like I hate you and I beat you up. Is like she just didn't give a fuck about her brother. So whenever he like inconvenienced her, she would just wallop him.
Oh wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, that was kind of the point, was showing that Dib's life kind of sucks.
So then we have Fairly Odd Parents, which I have to say, okay, so as a kid, I abused the shit out of my VHS tapes. A lot of them, because we had very few, but the ones that we had, I watched the shit out of them. And my 3 favorites were Jimmy Timmy Power Hour.
Of course.
Which just, oh my god. Like that Fairly Odd Parents is like one of those shows that as a kid, like, it just had such straight banger episodes. So many of them, like the episodes, that's those specials, like especially their specials, like the special with the TV remotes,
like
and
Channel Chasers was awesome. Like School's Out, the musical, I thought was pretty neat. I wasn't a huge fan of like that 3-part like The Darkness Is Coming, kind of like the first part of the special I thought was pretty neat. The second and third kind of felt flat in my opinion, because like, why are we doing the exact same thing 3 times, and not even the same way Jimmy Timmy Power Hour did the exact same thing 3 times?
Because it didn't. It did 3 different things.
Yeah.
No, but Fairly Odd Parents is just one of those shows. Like, I think it was so good, like so many good episodes, and it's like it had this like weird, just different vibe to it than a lot of the other shows that were going on at the time in Nickelodeon. And then, like, in my opinion, and this is a lot of other people's opinions too, when Poof got introduced is when the show really started going down. In my opinion.
It's one of those things where it's like...
And I don't hate Poof.
They did it because they needed to add a new element to the show.
And then they added that one girl that they had to share. Like, she also got them as...
Cosmo. See, I never got to that era of Fairly Odd Parents. Like,
me neither. I just heard a lot of people getting pissed off about it.
I dropped off partway through the Poof arc, honestly.
Yeah, same here.
Like the Poof era. I dropped off halfway through because I just got, like... I got to a point where Nickelodeon, like... wasn't producing as many shows that I cared about anymore, and like I moved over to like watching Cartoon Network and Disney a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, because that was Disney XD had started taking over, so I was watching a lot more of that.
And the thing is like all of these modern shows that they're doing now, it's like I can't get myself to support any of them. But like, except for
we're
maybe
not the
Loud
target
House.
audience anymore.
Yeah. No, I get it, but like, you know.
Oh
now they had a few good ones.
Quiet. I can hear you so clearly whining from outside the door.
Like, they had a few good ones even recently, like ones that, like, one for example. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about this later, but just a quick little mention.
Yeah.
One, for example, one of the more recent ones that a lot of people gave flack at the beginning because of the art style, which I totally get, because I don't like the art style either all that much. Now, I grew to like it, but it was the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the one where it's like bulky Raph. Like, the show is fantastic. Like, it has great moments.
Paid no mind to it, because like the 3D CGI one is one that knocked me off. It's like, because I liked the previous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, and then the 3D CGI one knocked me off because I noticed something about it that I thought was really weird, which is the voice actor for Michelangelo was also voice acting as Iron Fist in in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon with Drake Bell. I was like, that's really weird, and like I don't know, but like, for some reason that was like
the voice actor for Michelangelo is the voice actor for Beast Boy in that show. Teen Titans.
I said Ultimate Spider-Man.
No, I'm saying you said.
But I noticed that the voice actor for Michelangelo in the 3D CGI Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show was also voice acting as Iron Fist in Ultimate Spider-Man, and that really weirded me out for some reason.
That's interesting.
Also,
That's just weird.
I wasn't a huge fan of like making April a teenager. I thought was a weird choice for the 3D one. And
I kind of didn't care.
Well, it's like not that it doesn't honestly matter at the end of the day, because like the weird thing about it is April was like a full-grown adult, and the teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But they never really acted like teenagers, really. Well,
yeah.
I guess.
Raph. Damn.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing. You kind of forget they are teenagers in some of the iterations, but
because they're straight up not teenagers.
Because they don't act like teenagers.
They're like 30-year-old men.
Well, there are girls.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the Fairly Odd Parents. Like I said, it's just like there is a lot to say about the Fairly Odd Parents, but like
I liked it. I think it definitely did a lot. Butch Hartman, tip of the cap, but
Butch Hartman's just a freaking amazing.
I think what happened to Fairly Odd Parents, what happens to a lot of cartoons, is it went on
too
long and didn't have enough ideas to sustain itself.
Yeah, like they should have stopped before Poof.
No,
like what they should have stopped is
I
like
think Poof was a decent idea for the show. I don't think it hurt the show by adding Poof in. The problem is Poof set a precedent, which got bad, like with the dog and like the other kid. Like they just kept adding new things, and it's like, but does this actually?
Yeah, because Poof had good moments.
Yeah.
And it's like, but like once you start introducing these other new characters, it just kind of falls off the deep end.
Timmy starts slowly accruing more and more magical power. And
I just kept loving watching like those few special episodes. Like I said, Channel Changers.
Channel Chasers, Schools Out
like
the Musical.
it was
Jimmy
just
Power Hour. There was so much good stuff in those.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved watching Adult Timmy like fight Vicky, and it was great.
Adult Timmy never really fought Vicky.
No, like the one where he's like dressed up as like a ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Channel Chasers. Yeah, but like.
Yeah.
In the final battle was Kid Timmy versus Vicky and Mahamushi, which was like the anime.
Yeah, I know.
But like Adult Timmy never really fought her.
No, he's fighting against her.
He's fighting against her, sure. He's trying to stop her, but he never really actually confronts
And then you
her.
see like you see AJ and Chester, and they're just like super ripped dudes too, and it's hilarious. Like I just love watching it, and like the whole anime thing that they did, and that was just fantastic. I loved it. But Fairly Odd Parents is one of those shows that it just kind of dropped off.
I think it's one of those shows that if you started watching it when it first came out, you don't make it all the way to the end. It's like SpongeBob, you don't make it.
Yeah, just straight up.
But like it's a show that people can hop on in the middle of.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it just changed so much.
And did you see that one of the more recent episodes that they did? And obviously it's over now, but did you see one of the more recent episodes that they did that apparently Timmy made a wish to Cosmo?
The answer is no.
Okay, so this is an actual thing.
I've not seen anything modern.
This is an actual thing that happened. Timmy made a wish. They were doing this whole like trial on Timmy.
You talked to me about this before.
Yeah, they were doing this trial on Timmy.
And I asked you if it was real, and you said you didn't know.
No, I've seen the scene now.
Okay.
They did this trial on Timmy, right? And apparently he made a secret wish, and they're like, "What was your secret wish?" And he's like, "I made a secret wish, fine." And then he's like, he didn't remember. Cosmo didn't remember it because I wish that he would forget. And he's like, "I wish that time would stop and time would stop and no one would notice." And he's like, "How long ago did you make this wish?" And he's like, 50 years. And I'm like, what? 50 fucking years.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like Timmy also wished to never have to go to sleep again. Like disastrous consequences happened almost immediately. So like no one noticing time, not moving forward for 50 years. I feel like Father Time would be like, what the hell did you do? Because like that's definitely gonna be an entity in the Fairly Odd Parents universe.
Oh, 100%.
Like if the Sandman exists.
Oh yeah.
And like the Tooth Fairy and like some of these like all the other like the holiday individuals and stuff like that. Like we never really used to like Mother Nature or something like that. But
like Father
Time has to be in it.
Like he's in Danny Phantom.
Yeah. That's Clockwork. That's not.
He's Father Time.
He's not Father Time.
Okay. Anyways, moving on to the next show, which is Chalk Zone?
Chalk Zone I watched periodically. That was one of those shows that was like one of those third stringer things that would come on Nicktoons at like weird times, just as a filler time slot. But I thought the show was a decent idea. Do you know the premise?
I've never heard
Okay, so
of
basically the premise of Chalk Zone was every time somebody had a chalk drawing on anything that you could draw chalk on, when it was erased, it would go to the chalk zone.
Oh.
And so the main character had a magical chalk stick that he could draw a circle and basically create a portal to the chalk zone.
So it's just full of hopscotches?
Yes, but like it's also full like any like did you ever as a kid you ever draw anything in chalk?
Yeah.
Well, when it got erased, that would be it would end up in chalk zone.
Like even on like chalkboards or just like concrete?
Everything.
Oh wow, interesting.
And so I remember there being an episode where it's actually I thought it was very, very interesting on the concept of perceivable artwork and the intention of the artist making the art, which was basically he like after recess he saw all these chalk drawings on the ground and he basically would start altering the chalk drawings. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, when they get erased they go to the chalk zone and I don't want there to be problems in chalk zone because of some of these drawings. So it'd be stuff like a giant monster like in the ocean and like a ship sinking. So like he drew a giant chain and collar on the monster to stop the monster from attacking. But when he goes into the chalk zone, he finds out that the drawing was the monster saving the people from the sinking ship. So it's just like thrashing against the chain, like I need to save them, and the main character being, oh no. It's like, I thought that was such an interesting idea of your perception versus somebody's art versus the artist's intention.
Yeah, that's a very interesting argument actually.
Yeah,
I like that.
And the idea that like one of his first chalk drawings was like his friend, and like that, and like only Rudy, and now his name is Rudy because Rudy's got the chalk zone. He was kind of a troublemaker. Also, I remember like they would have these little things where it's like they would get like arrested for like disobeying for certain rules. Like he was trying to sleep, and so he ripped off the tag on the end of the pillow that said "Do not rip off," and he got arrested for it. And so he had to break it. I was like, "What are you in for?" I was like, I walked the wrong way down a one-way street. I walked the wrong way on the sidewalk for the one-way street.
Interesting.
And like other stuff like that. And so they get out by basically having the two cops flip over the box they were hiding under, say this way up. It's like, you broke the rules, you gotta go to jail. So they went in the jail cell. It's like, aren't we gonna lock him in? Don't worry, I took care of that. And he put a sign over the jail cell that said no exit.
Oh my goodness.
Like it was a silly little show, but I think it was fine.
All right. Next up, almost exactly a year after Fairly Odd Parents, is The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Have you heard the backstory behind that?
No.
Well, there was like this one like short somebody made about like doing a cartoon show fully 3D CGI, and it was horrific. Like Jimmy still had the giant brain, but like even more disproportional to his head and stuff like that. And I think his name was also like, it wasn't Jimmy Neutron. I think it was like Duke something or other. Like kind of like.
Interesting. No, I remember hearing about like how it was always just like an acid trip trying to work on those episodes. Because like it was a nightmare to try to produce.
Because the technology was just like
it wasn't there.
It wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
They were, like bending over backwards trying to make the show work.
No, but I remember as a kid watching. So like this is an actual thing. When I was in daycare as a kid, one of the movies that often came on in the little movie theater that they had at the daycare. Was the Jimmy Neutron movie, the one with the alien abductions and the carnival rides and everything.
Yeah, I mean the first thing produced about Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! And they did the chicken like da na na na. Yeah, the chicken dance. Like I was just like, I don't know why, but that just made me fall in love with Jimmy Neutron. And then you had that. The one episode that always sticks out in my mind every time I think about Jimmy Neutron, right? And this is the most. There's two episodes that stick out in my mind when I think about Jimmy Neutron, and that is the episode where they basically turn into the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
And then you have Jimmy, who is like
the End Men.
Yeah, and then Jimmy just like, me, Jimmy, and then he starts just beating the shit out of tanks and stuff, and it's like, oh my goodness, that whole episode, it's like, fuck all of you guys. Well, like it's like they're like, oh Jimmy, you're just orange.
You're orange, you smell fruity. That's your whole power.
Yeah, it's like. And it's like, oh, now...
Ignoring the fact that Jimmy is a super genius?
Yeah, exactly. Like, y'all wouldn't have this powers if it wasn't for him in the first place?
That wasn't Jimmy. That was, like, it was an accident because of, like, there's, like, the whole Fantastic Four thing where they went to space or whatever.
Yeah, but, again, you wouldn't have these powers if it wasn't for Jimmy building a fucking rocket ship and getting all into space.
Or, like, Sheen had, like, super speed, Cindy was basically Supergirl, Libby could turn invisible, Carl could
Bulge.
super burp, and then Jimmy was the Hulk. But like,
yeah.
So the whole idea was like, oh, hey, we need to hone and control our powers, guys. We need to actually be helpful, not just a menace. What do you know, Jimmy? You don't even have any superpowers. And then gets arrested by the military. He's like, maybe Jimmy was right. And then they spend time training, and Jimmy, like, he actually hulks out and stuff. He's like, you have to stop him, because Jimmy figured out that, hey, the more we use our powers, the more we die.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, in the battle, they all start dying. And Jimmy's fine, because he's never used his superpowers before. He's like, so, what would Mean Girl say? Like, love? It's so silly. The funny thing is, like, when he's in that form, his head is much more proportional with his body.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I think it is funny though. He's supposed to be the Hulk, but he's orange. So he's kind of like the Hulk and the Thing at the same time.
And the thing is he has the rocky skin like
exactly.
the Thing too.
Look,
so it's just like he's the Thing, but with the Hulk's like.
I do think it sucks though how like the End-Men powers only came back once, and it was like near the series finale, and like all of them got their wrong powers.
Yeah, it's kind of
apparently like Sheen like apparently also his power. Like, I don't know what it was. Like Sheen got the sort of the stick. Like not only to get super speed, but also like he had to pee all the time. But like nobody else had an issue with their powers.
The other episode that always really sticks out in my mind is like the Eye of the Tiger. Which, okay, so this is an interesting one where it's like, I don't remember very much about the episode, except for it being like, it was like a Kung Fu episode, right? And it was Sheen.
Oh, he was the chosen one.
He was the chosen one.
Right, because he could stick his foot behind his head.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the episode, like, Jimmy tried to give him, like, you know, a Kung Fu program, but instead put, like, the Irish dancing program, so he defeated the bad guy by, like, doing an Irish jig
exactly. Like, because Jimmy Neutron just had some strange ass plots.
Yeah, well, it's because whatever worked, man.
Yeah, and it was always something fantastical, and I loved it.
The episode that really sticks out in my mind is the one where he makes like clones of himself, but does it so fast they all just get one isolated trait, and so he ends up making an evil clone.
Yeah, it's like,
and the evil clone comes back and makes like a dark planet, and so it's like everyone's evil on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like. Yeah, like the weird hair. Like that was the weirdest thing about Jimmy. It was like, oh yeah, his hair is like that big curly thing. Yeah, he can just do whatever you like. He afro, horns, mohawk, and it's all fine because apparently his hair is just like a non-Newtonian fluid.
That's just how hair works. That's just how hair works.
How hair, bro. It's how hairs.
And then like I always pick up like random tidbits in my mind because the thing is like Jimmy Neutron's one of those shows that I have
the episode where Jimmy and Cindy switch brains because they were on the phone together and lightning struck and someone switched their brains.
And like the episode where he goes into the future and sees his future self is like, can you stop calling me Nerdtron now that we're married?
Because originally it was like the whole thing. It's like, thank you so much for this lovely award. Now, can I help me get all this to my car? Because he's got so many awards and stuff like that. It's like he's like super brilliant and stuff like that. But they go to the future and accidentally, because Carl or Sheen got her like perfume, but it accidentally got switched with Jimmy's like mega maniacal spray, which makes anyone who like inhales it like become mad with power. Number one, Jimmy, why are you making that? But that's why the future got changed, because in the flow of time, those were the events that happened. So like they ended up, instead of the original future that they saw, it was a future where Libby went mad with power. And that's why Jimmy was like, no, we're married.
I remember one of those scenes specifically as a kid that I watched.
Wow, Jimmy, you've been screaming for 5 minutes! Because he started screaming before the commercial break and came back and was still screaming. Which joke doesn't work quite as well now on streaming, because it fades to black and then comes back up.
But no, I remember one of those shows one of those episodes that I watched as a kid. It's like, Jimmy, how are we able to make it to the moon in 30 minutes when it takes astronauts like 9 months? And he's like, well, you see, Sheen, and then it just like Like
that's actually, I'm pretty sure, is in the Jimmy Neutron movie. Actually,
I don't remember where it was.
And
at.
this whole thing where it's like, well, then why do we not need helmets in space? Oh, let me also. And it's like
yeah, exactly.
Because I think it's Sheen playing the banjo or something. And then, like, she's like, because Carl's asking him a question.
Yeah, like...
And Jimmy's answering, but, like, you can't hear the answer.
It's like, we explained it. It's not our fault you didn't hear it. All right. Well, I think that's the most we've talked about one show.
Well, it's because, like, there's... Honestly, like, Jimmy Neutron only had, like, about 3 seasons. And, like, there's so much to... Like, it was just a good show. Hugh Neutron, amazing character.
A really good dad. Unlike Timmy's dad, actually good dad.
Yeah, because he's...
Have you been hitting the weights, son?
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, Hugh was pretty stupid, but he's overwhelmingly caring and compassionate towards his son. And the funny thing is, like, there have been occasions where, in this series, where Jimmy, like, tried to change his dad in small ways, but, like, no, I love my dad. I miss my dad. I want my dad the way he is.
Exactly. Like unlike Timmy's dad, who's just a bastard.
With pie and ducks.
Yeah, unlike Timmy's dad, who's just a bastard. Like Jimmy's dad.
Also, Hugh is just amazingly funny.
Yeah, he is. He's just great.
Like when he thought he was the last man on Earth, and he's like, I can't go on. I can't go on like this. Jimbo. Whatever the mom's name, I can't remember. It's like, I can't do it. Then he says he sees a pie truck, and he's like, yes, I can do it. I will. He's got giant stacks of pie.
Just this love for pie.
So, Jimbo, Judy, you're here. He like throws the pie. He's just like, oh, he loves them more than pie.
Yeah. Oh man, like such good dad.
Amazing.
I mean, definitely will be brought up in a future podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna do a podcast about us like ranking and talking about like fictional dads.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, he's gonna be a point. He's gonna be talked about on the list.
Yeah. And if he's not on our current list, he kind of has to be added to it now. Okay, good.
He's on mine.
I was about to say he kind of has to be added to it now that we've mentioned it. Yeah.
We've planted the bait. We can't back out of it now unless we edit this part out of the podcast.
So next after that, released a year later on April 12th, 2003, is All Grown Up.
I watched
All Grown Up. I never watched.
I watched it. I thought it was interesting. The idea of Tommy and all his friends. Oh, excuse me. Like Tommy got like a lot more self-conscious as he grew older, because he's still kind of the leader of the group and stuff like that. Not like he's like shy and everything now. He's grown up. He's a teenager. Like Angelica chilled the fuck out.
Damn, Avatar came out then? Jesus.
Is that the next one on the list?
No.
Oh, okay.
So no, it came out. It's 2 away.
Oh, interesting.
Apparently, Avatar came out in 2005.
It's literally right around the exact same time as Ben 10. Interesting.
Jesus.
Interessante. So I would have been watching Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon a lot then.
Yeah.
But All Grown Up, it was fine. I thought it was more interesting than Rugrats, even though Dill was a weird ass character.
Yeah. So we have My Life as a Teenage Robot.
I liked My Life as a Teenage Robot.
I adored My Life as a Teenage Robot as a kid. I can't really say that I remember much about it.
Oh, I think the interesting thing where
I can't even tell you an episode description anymore.
Do you remember Jenny's real name?
Jenny?
XJ9.
Oh, XJ9.
Because she was the 9th model of
Now I do remember always finding the art style a bit weird because
it's a very simplistic art style.
Yeah, it's very minimalistic,
which I appreciate because it saves time and energy on the animation budget, and it lets Jenny like fold out in interesting ways for her gadgets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because like XJ9, she was the 9th model. Because I remember like she was like, because you had Brad, who was your friend, and then Tucker, who was your younger brother, who was so annoying. He wasn't the worst, but like there would be times of him just being like, "Why do you do this?"
There would be more to say about it, and it is a really good show. And we're not trying.
I would recommend you actually rewatch it.
I probably will. I think it's on my watch list. Actually,
yeah, it's pretty good. I remember one of the more standout episodes, which was really hilarious, which was like she like reactivated all of her other sisters. It's like you had XJ1, 2, 3. Like XJ1 was like just like a bobby egg. Because the first model was like, oh, this is XJ1. Like vomit oil.
Actually, I do remember the plot of one episode. I think where it's like, oh, you can't be in high school.
Oh, you're not because you're only 4 years old.
Yeah, you're only 4 years old. Yeah.
And they had to bring in Mrs. Newman, I think her name was.
I don't remember.
It's like because Brad was like, don't worry, Jenny, I'll sort this out for you. So he had to go get Mrs. Newman. I think that's her name, Dr. Newman. It's like she's like, yes, XJ9 is only 4 years old, but she was trying to be a teenager. So, I remember that episode. The one thing that's really funny, I remember, is like, because like her mom wanted to keep her a secret, even though she was supposed to be like defending mankind. I think it was the first episode, where Brad found her and Tucker was like, "Oh my God, she's a freak, she's a robot, we can't." But Brad's like, "No, she's a girl, it's fine. We're hanging out with her, she's cool." And then she keeps getting alerts about there's an asteroid heading toward the planet. She's like, "Oh, this is like a Type C class. They always burn up in the atmosphere, whatever." And so she's doing human things with Brad. She's drinking smoothies, going to the mall, playing hacky sack. But she's a robot, so she just kicks it into orbit.
Yeah.
And near the end of the episode, it's like, well, stop alerting me about this. It's not gonna make it into the planet atmosphere. Notice the mass of the asteroid has been increased by a hacky sack. It is now D-class World Destroyer. She's like, what? He has to take care of it. But Tucker got trapped because her heel popped out to a jet engine and grabbed Tucker by the shirt. They got launched into space with her. And the episode ends, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." She just barely saves the planet from the asteroid. And Brad's like, "Tucker, oh, my boy, my baby brother, you're a monster." And he's on the ground and then he's like, "Jenny is so cool." I was like, "Oh, okay." Also, another episode I remember where it's the villain is this giant floating eyeball monster thing. It's like, "I know I can see, yada yada yada, I'm the whoa." And then Jenny defeats him by just kicking some dust into his eye. He goes, "Oh gosh, oh my God, oh, it burns." And it's like, "Get your eye drops, yeah, get your eye drops." So he shoots out the tentacle to grab it. Get your eye drops, yeah, and also 10,000 skull of hot sauce around. So he dips hot sauce in his eye. He's like, what else? What else is around here? And it's like, "Get your magnifying glass over here." And magnifying glass burns his eye with the magnifying glass. Get your pointy sticks here. So he's like, "Make it stop! Make it stop!" I'm like, that's a pretty interesting way to defeat a bad guy, not gonna lie. Also, the episode she wanted to be a human. So her mom gave her a human suit, but it was only after one night. So it was just a burlap sack. And there was a later episode where she'd been working on it and it became a Venom symbiote suit where it tried to possess her.
Oh, goddamn.
And it ended on a cliffhanger, the suit would come back, but it never did.
Probably because the show got canceled.
Probably.
Speaking of canceled shows.
What's next one?
Danny Phantom.
Oh, Daniel Fenton.
Which actually, not too recently, but recently, relatively speaking, me and Aaron watched the entirety of.
Oh, you mean back in 2019?
Relatively recently. It was 2020. It was 3 years ago. It's relatively recent.
5 years ago.
Yeah. But yes, Danny Phantom, we watched.
Watch it. Season 1 sets the bar, Season 2 straddles the bar, and Season 3 dings its nuts on the bar.
Exactly. Seasons 1 and 2 just especially when you find out that his sister finds out his secrets in the first season. It had status quo changing events in the first season. It's you're "Oh man, I gotta keep it hidden from everybody." And it's she finds out in the first season and helps him so much. And then there's that episode where Vlad pits him against his sister.
Did you know this? Ha! And then it's just abandons the suit. And he's "Yep, saw that coming." And it's just the bomb.
Oh, I Danny Phantom is one of those shows where it's honestly, I feel if the show wasn't already going to get canceled, I feel the third season would not have been as bad as it was, because I think it was just trying to close up plot lines.
It was hella rushed.
Yeah, it was just trying to close up the plot, and that's it.
My biggest issue with Danny Phantom is, unfortunately, Danny's and Sam's relationship. They have no chemistry. Why does Sam hang out with Danny and Tucker? I can see why Danny and Tucker hang out. They're very clearly friends. Why do Sam and Danny hang out?
And because Sam has a crush on Danny.
But why?
But
why though?
Because she finds him hot. Why else?
That's not a good enough reason.
I mean, that's good enough reason for me.
I think so, because Danny is in love with Paulina for most of the series.
Yeah, but Sam likes Danny.
But why?
Because she does.
Why?
Why does anyone like anybody?
For reasons.
Because you
reasons.
find them attractive.
That's not the only reason.
You know, she finds him attractive.
Okay,
she
so
likes his personality.
For a guy, that's enough. That's why Danny likes Paulina, but usually for the women, so you need more.
He's an interesting personality. He's a hero. He saves people.
But why were they hanging out before? They were friends before.
Well, I imagine his personality didn't change very much.
But have you ever seen like the reason what they like? Sam's like a goth, and she's like into all this. She's like into protesting. She's a vegetarian. She has all these personality traits, and it's like, okay, why is she hanging out with Danny and Tucker?
So here's the thing. I think she hangs out with Danny because Danny doesn't judge her. Okay. Which he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Like throughout the series, it's like she probably hangs out with Danny just because Danny, like, likes to hang out with her.
See, it's one of those things where it's like
despite her differences.
There's a lot of cartoons where you have boy and girl who like each other, but usually you can very easily see why they like each other, and I never understood.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Danny just straight up has more chemistry with Valerie.
Yes.
Like
Valerie, who ends up being a better romance than Sam and a better villain than Vlad.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't like Valerie. Not that I hate her. I don't. I think she's a great character. I just don't like her as a romance option for Danny, even though I understand that they have better chemistry.
Yeah.
But the thing is I like Danny Sam. Now, I understand that they don't have really good chemistry, like, at all, because I in all honesty, I think that's something that they were trying to build up a bit more over the series, but the series just got cut short.
It's a funny thing about like a relationship that I feel like it's kind of the same way as to why they like each other or something. It's kind of like the whole thing with like Ron and Kim Possible, where like they were
fuck that.
They were just such good friends. There was always such a strong bond and relationship that it kind of just transitioned.
I always hated that.
You did?
Because I fucking hate Ron.
Oh, that sucks.
I hate Ron.
That sucks. But that
No, you know what cemented my hating of Ron for the most part?
What?
One episode, which was the cemented my hating
was it
for
the
Ron.
episode of the hair?
No. It was the episode where he gets put in a group project with the other girl that's a part of the cheerleader, and then like she's having to do all the work, and Ron's just sitting there like, "Oh, you're gonna do all the work," and she's like, "No, you're gonna help me," and he's like, "No, because if I don't help you, I'd fail, which is fine with me. But if you don't do it, then you fail, and you won't do it, so you're gonna do all the work." And I'm just like, fuck you, Ron.
I do not remember that.
You don't remember that episode?
I don't remember that episode at all.
Yeah, no, like straight up, like, Ron, you're a bitch, and I hate you.
I do not remember that episode. So I can't argue with you that is an episode, because it does kind of sound like something Ron would do, maybe. But like, I don't remember that episode, and also I don't remember the girl he did it to. Because if
it's the cheerleader girl.
Cheerleader girl.
No. It's the cheerleader girl.
You mean Bonnie?
Like, she's
The
like
one
brownish.
The one who's always a bitch?
No, not
Okay,
that
then
one.
you
She's
can't-
actually friends with Kim.
Monique.
I don't know their names.
Okay, the one that works at like the Club Banana. And is
I
like,
guess
is
so.
is
Like I
the
said, she's friends with Kim.
fashionista with the big poofy hair.
She's like friends with Kim.
Yeah, that's Monique.
Okay, yeah.
I would say that's kind of Ron feeling threatened about
No, because the episode starts with they're giving the group assignments, and then he's like, "Oh man, don't put me with someone who's not smart. Don't put me with someone who's not smart." And then he gets put with him, and she's like, "No," and he's like, "Yes, I don't have to do any work." And I'm like, "Fuck you, Ron." And here's the thing: I just don't like Ron's character type. I don't like that character type in shows, like just stupid, inept, like. Oh yeah. But he's caring about people.
So Shaggy Rogers.
No, but Shaggy it works because he has Scooby to bounce off of.
Okay, Ron has Rufus.
No, but I don't like Rufus.
What?
I don't like Rufus.
How do you not like Rufus?
Okay, wait, we're getting too much into.
That's Disney.
We'll talk more about this.
We'll put a pin in this one. Move back to Danny Phantom. But that was an example of like a friendship relationship where like they don't necessarily have a reason to be like each other romantically, but they had such a strong friendship that it transitioned. I was never a huge thing into like Sam and Danny's friendship. So like them transitioning into like, relationship, I'm like,
A goth girl.
Well, that's another reason for Danny to like Sam, but not a reason for Sam to like Danny.
Sam just likes Danny just because of his it's just his personality, I think.
I feel like there needs to be much more groundwork.
Like Danny's just funny, caring.
Like there's so much about Danny Phantom that is so good, but like the fact that like, it kind of like the whole like, oh my gosh, Sam and Danny, but I'm like, why?
Oh, that's the thing is like Danny, even though like the whole thing with Paulina can be a bit over.
Paulina Fenton.
Yeah. My thing is like Danny is caring.
Mm-hmm.
He is funny.
Yep.
A lot. And he's just an overall nice dude.
Has superpowers.
Huh?
Has superpowers.
Yeah, well, I mean, that came after.
He's a ghost.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Danny Phantom is just one of those shows where it's like, it has a lot of really good episodes. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't really think any of the episodes in the first 2 seasons, at the very least. I fucking love the Box Ghost. I love the Box Ghost, which I know is funny because I just said I don't like enough characters, but he's a villain, and it works. Especially whenever you pair up the Box Ghost with the cafeteria lady.
I am Box Lunch.
Exactly. Like, I fucking love the Box Ghost, and it's just, and I love it even more when you do the whole, like, whenever Butch Hartman did the whole, like, Box Ghost in the future, and he's got like the little hook hands, he's like warehouse boxes. It's like, I am the Box Ghost. Fucking love the Box. And then you had what was his fucking the electronic guy, fucking
I am Technus, master of all things electronic and blinking.
I fucking love Technus so much.
Why? That was a very long speech.
One of the best recurring villains in any Nickelodeon show or any cartoon in general.
Until we get to season 3, and it's how many times can Skulker show up in an episode?
Yeah, no, Skulker was a really good character.
I liked him
when he was introduced.
Yeah.
And then they
Even
just
his voice actor was not that great in the original episode. He got a much better voice actor.
Yeah, but like then they abused the shit out of him. Like, and that's the thing is like there's so many other good villains in Danny Phantom. So many good villains in Danny Phantom, and they just.
I think they also have the problem is like with powers creep. Like Danny just kept getting more and more abilities. So like they could like.
Well, by the end of the fucking series, Danny could tear up a fucking city with one scream.
Yeah.
So it's like
the ghostly whales. Like,
yeah, like
could, like with
when Danny have to fight himself from the future, you know, like shit. Not just himself.
Dan.
A version of himself fused with Vlad.
Yeah. I'm Dan Phantom.
It's like the ghostly whale. I remember. So this is actually interesting. When I was a kid, right before I realized what the ghostly whale was, before I saw that episode, I had a video game for the Game Boy Advance on Danny Phantom. I have that game in that drawer right now, and you could unlock all the powers. You know, you can unlock the thermos and all that jazz.
Yeah, the power of the thermos.
Yeah, it was a power that you could unlock in the game.
As a gadget.
But like. One of the power-ups that you got like midway through the game was the ghostly whale.
See, I think
and what it did is you could activate it. He fucking screams, and I was like, this is before I saw that episode, so I was like, he screams and kills everything on the screen.
Of course.
And then he turns into his human form, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that?
I think Danny Phantom definitely escaped a pitfall that a lot of like teenage superhero shows fall into, which is just like. Danny's got like 2 human friends. Why the fuck are they trying to help? Because like it was equal parts Danny's ghost powers and then just technology and gadgets. So Sam and Tucker always had a way of helping.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So like they actually the ability to like
And his sister always had a way of helping because she was like her parents.
And his parents.
She was like her parents, but like more competent.
It's like Jack,
except for the mother.
No, Maddie Fenton is like it's like
completely competent.
It's like Jack, I love you, but who's better with the gadgets? You are. Who's the better shot? You are. Who's a 9th degree black belt? You are. Wait, you are?
That's the thing is like Jack.
He's like, it's like, yeah, take it, and that's why I make a good team.
Jack, as much of a dunce as he is, he's a fucking genius.
He's a genius. He's like a mad genius. He's the kind of genius you have to be to get to that weird, crazy, freaky logic you would need to actually have to understand ghosts.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like he was a genius because like all those inventions were like he's the one that built them.
But it took Danny to actually get them to work because essentially Danny was able to power them.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah.
Because you need ecto energy to actually get the shit to work. Eventually they figured it out and they were able to do it. Like we do find out that Maddie Fenton was able to do it on her own because the alternate timeline where Danny intervened and Vlad saved Maddie and they got like Maddie still has like a ghost lab and a ghost portal and all these other things. So like Maddie is still fully capable of doing it without Jack, but Jack is still a genius and a competent combatant in his own right because like you can like those ghost gauntlets. He just goes to town on bad guys.
Yeah, like because he's a big dude. He's fucking massive.
Like I thought you would be swimming in my side of the gene pool. filled with gravy and fudge.
Exactly. It's like they portray him as fat, but this dude's like,
no, he's built.
He's built.
Like it's like yeah, he's on a layer of fat. He is the chubby boy, but like it's just all muscle underneath. He is the strong man.
Exactly. No, Danny Phantom is one of those shows where, in all honesty, we could just keep talking about it. And
yeah, Danny Phantom is. We could have I would say Danny Phantom would be like a power trio podcast. Like we could keep talking about Danny Phantom. Like we probably talk about other things as well with it.
Yeah, like
Danny Phantom, Ben 10, Avatar: The Airbender. Like these are like series we would like talk about in circles.
Yeah.
Because like they had a lot of similar themes, like teenage protagonists given powers they weren't.
Yeah, what we'll probably end up doing is doing a podcast for each one of these. We'll probably release 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
For each one of these individual things with just our top 3 shows for them that we could just talk about for hours, and we'll probably end up releasing that. Who knows? Later, but just to save some context, just save conversation for those podcasts, we'll move on from
Danny Phantom was a very good show. We liked it a lot. It unfortunately got ousted.
Yeah, exactly. Because it shared a fucking time slot with SpongeBob.
That sucks.
Yeah. So next up is Avatar: Last Airbender, which we've already talked about
briefly. It's a fantastic show, amazing. Legend of Korra, letdown in my opinion.
I fucking love Legend of Korra, but we will get to that in a minute.
Yeah, but like Legend of the Dragoon.
Okay, here's another one that I fucking loved as a kid. Yeah. Forgot about the show as an adult. Resaw it in Nick Picks, which I don't know if you know what Nick Picks is. So Nick Picks is a fucking DVD that came out in like the early 2000s.
Yeah. That
was just like, it was these DVDs. It was like Nick Picks Volume 1, Nick Picks Volume 2, Nick Picks Volume 3, where it would just like some of the best episodes from different shows that they had going on and put them all in one disc. And Cat Scratch was on there.
Cat Scratch, I remember Cat Scratch.
I fucking loved Cat Scratch. And Cat Scratch, I shit you not, is the reason why root beer is my favorite soda.
Waffle and Gordon and Mr. Blink.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cat Scratch, even though I don't know much about it anymore, because it's been a long time.
Cat Scratch!
It's been a long time since I've seen it. But Cat Scratch is the reason why root beer is my favorite soda.
See, that's one of those shows. Like, that was a nice, bite-sized, digestible show. I feel like Cat Scratch started off as shorts and then just got, like, stitched together into, like, full length.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like...
Because the whole thing is she was like, they were like the 3 cats, like this really rich lady, and when she died, like the just everything to her cats.
Yeah, exactly.
They just started doing stuff.
They just started doing a bunch of random things. Buying a bunch of root beer.
Liar, liar, cheater, liar! Yeah! They said like they go to question or whatever, they turn the flips, so they go like
now nowadays I only remember 2 of the cats, which is the orange and white one.
I know Gordon was the Scottish one for some reason. And Mr. Blink was like the black cat. I was like, yes!
Yeah, that's the one that I remember.
And then Waffle was the weird one. Like wow, the wacky one.
Yeah.
So you had Blink, who's the eccentric one. You had Gordon, who was the grounded one, who was also very Scottish. That was the thing. Like a lot of cartoons, like if you just had like multiple characters, one of them had to be Scottish for some reason. And then Waffle was just the weird one.
Yeah.
Like Waffle could be, technically speaking, any single one of them could be the instigator for an episode, and the 2 could play like support roles. But I think it's important and like ensemble cast dynamics. If you have 3 main characters, like they have to be there. Like one can't always be the problem instigator, because then that character becomes annoying.
Yeah. Another show that came out in 2005, in November of 2005, that I did not initially watch when it came out. I watched it a little bit later, and it's a show that I actually thoroughly enjoy, and I think it's a good show, but I don't remember anything about it now. And it's The X's.
The X's! I remember watching The X's.
I remember watching it. I remember liking it.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it.
I remember liking it a lot. I remember like they had like the house had like an AI, because they were a family of spies, but they weren't necessarily like all related to each other. They were just all assigned together. I remember there being an episode where like they were too stable as a family dynamic, and so the AI house thought it could lead to the people finding out that they're spies because they're too well put together. So he gave them all like quirks to be more like fitting, and like so he made like the dad like a bum who didn't have a job, the mom was over controlling, the older sister was like a problem child who like always got into like shit, and then the son was like a whiny like a whiny suck up. and like he would like use electric shock therapy on them,
And not to bring...
and like it actually gave them the problems. And so the villain had to like give him like a group family therapy to fix them, and then he goes, and then they stop him. He's like, why did I do that?
Oh, so an interesting little thing to bring in a little bit of Disney here, just to, the X's. You remember that one show from Disney, the one
with replacements.
Yes, the X's always correlated into my mind with the replacements, and I don't know why.
It's because of the Super Spy Mom.
I guess that could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember. You know what? Like I said, we're on that second podcast where we talk about the main trio. We can come back, and in that podcast,
Start doing more
we can.
crossover things.
Well, no. What I mean is in that podcast we can like these shows that like we remember from as when we were kids, but don't remember much about them.
Yeah.
We can rewatch them and like bring them up.
I don't know. I want to do it. Like maybe for some. Like I think you should watch like My Life's Teenage Robot. Definitely. Like I don't know if I would like. I don't know if I would go back and watch any of the episodes that we've discussed that I have not already seen.
I'd watch the X's.
You should watch the X's.
Yeah, I'll rewatch the X's.
It's a pretty fun show.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think it was one of those shows we didn't Flash.
Wow, that's that old?
What?
Damn. Next. El Tigre.
I loved El Tigre.
I fucking
It was a
El
really
Tigre.
good show. That show got mistreated so bad by the studio.
Yes, it did.
Shame on them for doing it.
Like, El Tigre was one of those shows that I would always, like... It was one of those shows that I would wait for it to come on. Like, I would sit there and be like...
4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. I would wait for it to come on because I loved El Tigre.
Do you know, like if the show was going to continue, they were going to give Frida superpowers finally. Like they were
What?
going to give her the La Peligrosa iron glove thing. Like the glove that Manny's mom had that made her cuckoo.
No.
They were going to give her the glove and make her actually be able to help.
Aww.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I remember
man.
that was one of my favorite episodes was La Tigresa. Like when Frida stole Manny's belt. And, like, I thought that was a pretty fun episode.
Like, I
It's like the last episode or whatever. I think the last episode of the series was like a therapist like took away all their like superpower items. Like you have to be a family before you can be superheroes again. And like every villain found out about it and started attacking them. It's like, we need them back.
It's one of those things where it's like, the family dynamic because you had the dad who was like the greatest superhero, and then you had the grandfather who was like the super
White Pandera, grandson of the legendary superhero Poma Loco,
legendary supervillain. Yeah, it's just like Dad, stop being a supervillain. It's fucking great.
Well, it's only
So it's like his grandfather's trying to turn his grandson into a supervillain.
Yeah.
And his dad was
trying to keep him on the straight and
trying to keep him on the hero side.
That's what it is. They all still live together. And everything.
Exactly.
It turns out it's Poma Loco's house. So because originally they were talking about asking him to move because they had this bad influence on Manny, and they found out, well, he owns the house, we can't do that.
Oh, that's funny.
Also, there were so many interesting dynamics. Where you had Satana of the Dead, who had her magic guitar could bring the dead back to life, and she was a skeleton lady, creepy as fuck. You had the Cuervos. That family of supervillain females who apparently all fell in love with a different member of the Rivera family. This is the whole thing. I was like, I remember the mom is like, stupid Pandera, no wonder I broke up with him. He broke up with you. As if I could forget! It's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
That one, howdy there, partners, who was he was a robot suit, was actually the same age as Manny, so he's pretending to be an adult. Oh my gosh! There was so much good about El Tigre. It's because that one is one I know for a fact was animated in Flash, and it's just it just got so mistreated. There was so much Mad Dragon loves he loves El Tigre too. There's so much he can tell you about El Tigre.
Well, yeah.
Take it before it's time.
Yeah. Sad. Rip El Tigre.
Rip El Tigre. Bring it back.
All right, next up we have another one that came out just after that, August of 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Tak and the Power of Juju.
That's one that I watched periodically, but did not care.
That's one that I liked the games more than I cared about the show.
The games are definitely better.
Yeah, I played the games all the time, especially on the game. Well, all I had as a kid was a Game Boy Advance, so I played a lot of Game Boy Advance games, and one of the Game Boy Advance games that I had was Tak and the Power of Juju.
Yeah.
So I played the shit out of it, and I know more about the show from the game than I do the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I can't, not really anything to say about it.
It was weird.
It's a show. It existed.
It had a fantastic theme song, but that's as much as I can say about it because I didn't care.
Next up is a show that came out September 29th of 2007 and is a show continuation of one of the best movies that Nickelodeon has ever made. Let's see if you can guess it. No, I won't.
Oh, Back at the Barnyard.
Yeah, okay, so Back at the Barnyard, right?
My problem with
They fucked up by taking away that chick cow from the movie
Daisy
and replacing her
with Abby.
Abby.
I understand why they replaced her with Abby because Abby had a much more interesting dynamic. Like she was much more exciting and interesting. I'm not a fan of how they just completely regressed Otis as a character.
Yes.
Because it'll be like, oh,
because he's the protector of the barnyard.
I have responsibility. I'm a father, sort of. The little things like to be very responsible. As long as I'm still kicking, no animal will be harmed inside this fence. Is the whole thing about the movie. It's like the whole thing. Oh yeah, that doesn't happen. Jason doesn't exist. Otis doesn't have a child anymore. Otis is just a wackadoo, and we never made him his father ever. Also, they got rid of Miles the mule. It was kind of like they had kept like a lid on everything. But like you have Abby and you have
the chicken and the pig.
Peck and
or not the chicken. He's a
pig's rooster. So Peck and Freddy, who was the mongoose.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like
Pip the mouse.
The pig. I remember. I watched.
I don't remember.
Because Barnyard.
I do not remember.
Back at the Barnyard was a show that actually came out when I was watching cartoons.
Yeah.
So it's like it came out while I was in the middle of watching cartoons. So it's like something that I actually got to experience when it came out.
It's gonna bother me now. I gotta look it up. I remember every other character, but
I actually watched.
Oh, shit. Whatever.
I actually watched Back at the Barnyard as a kid, like just when it came out. Yeah, and so like I liked it. I did, and then there were certain episodes that I was like, okay, you know, this is kind of dumb.
Bessie. They kept her. They kept Bessie. They got rid of Daisy. What's with that? Duke the dog.
Oh yeah, Duke the dog. There's cows outside.
Oh, his name was literally just Pig.
It's a farm. There's gonna be cows outside.
His name is literally just Pig.
Oh, his name was just Pig?
It's just Pig.
Oh, okay.
Back at the Barnyard had a very interesting dynamic of, like, it had a very good progression of what it means to be a leader, the trauma of being forced in a position you're not ready for, fear-mongering, when all evil needs is for good men to do nothing. Like, there's so many interesting themes and ideas displayed. Also, there's a lot of just funny humor. Like you had Snotty Boy, and you had like the Jersey cows. You had what are the other ones? I'm trying to think of, like, actual like distinctly funny moments that aren't Otis. Doesn't matter. If you've ever seen At the Barnyard, you should give it a shot. Like, I can't say it's for everybody, but I think there's enough in it to actually like about it. Sam Elliott sings a song in it. It's pretty neat.
So, floating on to the next. So we have The Mighty Bee, which I never watched.
I watched The Mighty Bee periodically. That was an example of a show where the main character was slightly annoying, but it never got too much for me. The idiotic friend, who I found more annoying, even though she was kind of like...
Now you want to talk about an idiotic friend that I hated? That might actually be up later on this. I can't remember if that was Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon.
What?
My partner is a... My gym partner is a...
That's a Cartoon Network.
Yeah. Okay,
then
yeah.
I
fucking hated it.
The funny thing is, I can still remember this day. Like, there was an episode where like there was like a talent show or whatever, and like Maggie wanted to be on the band, but like the popular girl wouldn't let her, but had to unfortunately like let her at the end of it because she's the only person who could do the drums. It was like, I'm running with the rainbow unicorns. Don't you wish you were me? The thing I did not like about Mighty Bee was the annoying theme song.
I don't know. I've never seen The Mighty Bee.
Look it up on YouTube. You have a minute. It's pretty annoying. I'm pretty sure. I think it's one of those songs that skirts the line between catchy and annoying, and for me, it just fell on the annoying side.
Oh, interesting. Next up, wow, this show came out when I was like, I guess my era of.
They're starting to bleed into actually your era of.
No, it's starting to bleed out of my era.
Oh, out of your era. Okay.
Because like this was back like I watched some of these shows, but like a lot of these shows where I was like I don't know. And apparently I was like 8 when I was like, I don't know about Nickelodeon.
No,
Apparently, because like next up is the Penguins of Madagascar.
I watched Penguins of Madagascar.
Which I actually do love Penguins of Madagascar,
It's
but like
great.
all these other shows after this, I'm like, some of these I'm just like,
No idea
I
what it
fucking
is.
hated.
Oh my.
Like, so the Penguins of Madagascar was one of those shows where it's just like,
I
it was
liked-
okay.
I liked it much more than the Penguins of Madagascar movie.
Oh, I hated the movie.
The movie was bad, but like the cartoon was actually really fun.
And I didn't really care about Madagascar in general.
Options.
Yeah. Like, I actually liked the show of Penguins of Madagascar, but the movie...
I remember there was an episode where like freaking like Victoria Justice and the actress who plays Sam and iCarly were like guest stars. They played like otters.
Jeanette McCurdy?
Jeanette McCurdy. Like it was like I remember that being like a big marketing. It was like, oh look at these 2 actresses on these TV shows voicing characters in Penguins of Madagascar. Please watch the show.
Because, like, it didn't really do very well at the
Which
beginning.
sucks. It
It had charm.
It had charm. I think it was a very interesting and fun show.
Yeah, it was. And that's about the best I can say
So I
about
remember
it.
there's an episode where like they get like news that like there's gonna be a penguin who's gonna take out the mayor or whatever, and they protect him because he's a big proponent of like fish for the penguins at the zoo, but he hated pigeons. So like there's a whole episode where like they had to like protect him, and so like he had to the lead penguin. I can't remember what his name is. Like because there's Quasi, Rico, Private. I can't remember the penguin's name.
Yes.
Skipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skipper had to like take a shot for
For the fucking mayor.
And then there episode where like, they were making bets with the lemurs for like first one to get to a point wins,
Yeah.
and they kept losing because the lemurs were going through the trees, which I feel like that wouldn't matter necessarily.
Well, the thing is like the main characters that you had on that like they tell the storylines based around, right?
Yeah.
Were the lemurs,
King Julian and
the penguins,
yeah.
and the chimps.
The chimps?
The monkeys?
I don't remember very many episodes about the chimps.
No, there wasn't episodes about them, but it would pan between those 3.
But what about the badger or whatever?
The who?
The girl?
I don't remember.
You don't really?
No.
Interesting. She had like a really interesting relationship with Skipper.
It's been a long time since I've seen the show. Like I said, this came out in
She
2008.
was a main supporting character, I should say.
This came out in 2008. It's been a long time. I remember bits and pieces of it.
But the thing is, like, they were betting to them, so they kept losing things, and eventually Skipper found out like they were winning by going to the trees. So they ended up winning by like strapping like soda balls to their back and putting like giant foam fingers on their flippers, and started. These penguins will learn to fly. and it's funny. This is one of the things that they don't really bring out in a lot of cartoons is that technology stays in the show. They use that again later.
Oh, neat.
Like you'll have cartoons where like they'll come up with like one-time solutions and just never bring them back up again. It's like why?
So after the Penguins of Madagascar, in 2009 came out a show that I fucking hated.
Is Fanboy Chum Chum?
How the fuck did you know?
Because it was because of that era and you fucking hated it. Fanboy Chum Chum is awful. We're not gonna talk about it. It's a shit show. Moving on.
All right. After that was another show that I fucking hated just because of the premises of it. It was Planet Sheen.
Yes, because they wanted to continue like the whole idea with like just like Jimmy and stuff like that, but
like Sheen is just like why
and,
Sheen?
And like the chimp was supposed to be like the Jimmy character, and like they had like a amoeba that was just Carl.
Yeah, and it's just like
it was supposed to be a film.
The problem is like why does this exist? And it's just like because like you're taking one of the like Sheen was a cool character when paired up with that dynamic.
Is a supporting character or part of an ensemble. He is not the main character.
Exactly. It's like we're just gonna skip over that one because like I don't care.
So I think the idea behind Planet Sheen initially was the idea of what if Sheen was on a planet where he was actually the smartest person. I think originally it was like a short film. I don't think it was actually meant to be like an entire series.
Yeah, but it's just we'll just move on.
That was also bad. It sucked. I watched an episode of it. Hated it.
Now here's a show that like in all honesty, at first I hated, then I loved, then I hated, then I loved. Just depended on the day, and it was Tough Puppy.
Yeah.
Now this is another Butch Hartman show.
Yes, and it had Jerry Springer as the main voice actor of the main character, who I love.
And then you have the cat. You know.
I didn't dislike Tough Puppy. It never grabbed me.
I think Tough Puppy was, it was one of those shows where it's like, it's okay.
That's fine.
It's fine. And that's about the best I can say about it.
Like, I would give it like a C-.
And that's the thing is like, in my opinion, it's like, the second worst Butch Hartman show? Because I know he made another one that was worse.
Bunsen is a Beast.
I don't know.
That's a Butch Hartman show. Bunsen is a Beast.
Oh.
He did that after Tough Puppy. And I've never seen anything about it. I only know about that show is because there's a period of time where I was watching Butch Hartman on YouTube.
Now, next up is a show that probably neither one of us really ever watched, but I kind of want to watch Winx Club.
That was Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
They might have... It's not an acquired one?
No.
I felt like Winx Club was like WB for kids or something like that. Because I feel like it was like... I remember like it being on... I was like Dino Squad and like these like other like third party
It
like
says
cartoon
Note 21, Nickelodeon Animation Studio produced Winx Club, revival series made up of season 5 onwards.
So they got... Okay, so I was correct. It was
originally on WB for kids. Yeah.
So Winx Club was basically the Magical Girls series, something like that.
It's like girls games.
I didn't hate Winx Club.
It's for girls.
I never watched Winx Club.
It's for girls.
It's for girls, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's very progressive of you.
But it's for girls.
It was pitched at little girls, and we were little boys with generic standard little boy interests. So
exactly.
We had no
like now as an adult, I'm like, I kind of want to go back and watch it just because like if the writing is good, then I'll check a couple episodes out and I might watch it.
You have like the main characters like power is like fire, earth, flower, and like you have to like we're just like music. It's one of the main characters. I think magic is music. It's like what the fuck.
Now here's a show that came out based on a movie that I absolutely loved the show, even though I think the cast was different. Okay. And that is Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness.
Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness is the same issue I have with like the How to Train Your Dragon things like.
How dare you? That show was great.
I could not get into
2 shows, 3 shows
into the cartoon. I loved the movies. I could not care about.
Well, the cartoon told a lot of really interesting stories, and I liked it. And it had these characters that you didn't really have in the movies that were also really great.
I felt like the problem with Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon was that it was like I never felt like anything in the show was ever gonna matter when it came to the movies.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
So like, why would I get invested in something when this is?
Well, actually, How to Train Your Dragon, the show actually did matter to the movies. Specifically, but like that's Cartoon Network. We'll talk about that when we get to that.
It is interesting though how like they're both DreamWorks, but Cartoon Network got one and then
Nickelodeon got the other. Yeah.
Interesting.
Next, April 14, 2012. I was 12 years old when this series came out. It's a continuation of another previous Nickelodeon show, Legend of Korra, which, despite popular disliking, I absolutely love seasons 1 through 3 of Legend of Korra.
Ignore season 4.
Season 4, I've never heard of a season 4 of Legend of Korra. Do tell.
There's just one bitch.
Yeah.
And giant kaiju battle.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. No, there's parts of season 4. I just hate the ending of Legend of Korra. Like, because like, you know, she walks off with the homegirl into the portal. And I'm just like, where? There was like, I'm not against LGBT relationships in shows, but like, it came out of fucking nowhere.
This is a great example of not even in the subtext.
Yeah,
like there have been a number of cartoons that have had subtextual LGBT relationships going on, and then like after the show was over, like right at the end, it was revealed.
Yeah,
but this was not one of them.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
At all.
Also,
and it's like, don't get me wrong. I didn't like her dating any of the characters that she dated.
No.
But like,
ironically enough, I do think Korra and Asami makes the most sense in a relationship.
Yes, they do.
But they didn't.
They just didn't set it up at all.
Exactly.
Like, it's not that I'm against them getting together. Mm-hmm. It's like I wish, at least in the 4th season, they would have given us, because like there's some things that are there that you like could take as hints. Yeah. Like rewatching it.
I don't make this as a promise, but I've had the idea of rewriting Legend of Korra. The only thing holding me back from it is 1, I have to watch Legend of Korra, and 2, I've seen other videos on YouTube that have done the same thing, and like I do feel like I kind of missed the bus. It's like I would only be doing it for myself. So in terms of how much do I care to actually do it?
Because here's the thing, I actually love Legend of Korra and the continuation. I love the difference in, because it's very much not like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is a very different type of show.
But I feel like where it differs is kind of what makes it worse, unfortunately.
No, it does make it worse. But my biggest complaint that I have with people who hate Legend of Korra is like, they're like, oh, it's worse than Avatar: Last Airbender. And like that's their biggest complaint. And it's like, it's not that the show is bad. No, it is not as good as Avatar: Last Airbender. But that doesn't make the show not good, because all people do is compare it to the original. And it's like, I've had this argument with Aaron and Ryan so many times.
I think the show is worse on its own merits, even separated from
because like
the comparison legend.
the thing is the first season was great. I don't like the fact that Amon was just a bloodbender. I don't like the fact that Amon was just a bloodbender. The second season was great. I don't like the fact that, like, don't get me wrong, the endings of each of the season kind of drag it down.
They're all bad,
except for the third season. I think the ending of the third season was actually great.
I don't like how rapturous the camera makes like Korra's torture. Like in that in that same season, we pan away as Tenzin is getting the shit kicked out of him because it's too painful for us as an audience to watch. But we'll just zoom in on Korra getting messed up. What the hell? I think somebody on the writing staff had something to deal with that. They had their work.
But it took on a more, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Avatar didn't have its serious moments.
Of course not.
But like Legend of Korra took on a more serious tone in general.
I feel like something that could have definitely helped Legend of Korra is having characters from the original series pop up a little.
Well, Toph pops up.
Yeah, but like not until season 4.
Yeah, and you have
like,
Korra, who's in the
Katara's
beginning.
in the first episode.
I mean, Katara, who's in the beginning.
Because she's
now, if they had given us,
she was Korra's waterman.
If they had given us one of Sokka's 20 children, because God knows Sokka definitely had a lot of kids.
Well, things are like we have like Toph's daughter, and like she's like a main character.
Daughters. Yeah,
the second one doesn't show up like season 3. But like we get like Toph's daughter, and like she's like a big series character. She's part of the thing. She actually, honestly, I would say like she's one of the best things about the show. Honestly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Her and Tenzin definitely the best. Not like that's like, but they're like
chemistry.
Their chemistry and their on screen things like it's very good. Like Tenzin, best character. Lin Beifong, second.
Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, I do like the dynamic that Tenzin has. Specifically because Tenzin is one of those characters, for one, you know, voice actor J.K. Simmons just fucking amazing.
Tenzin just has so much pressure put on him by his
and that's
father.
the other thing about it is like he has a lot of pressure put on him, but then you get the character moments with like his siblings, right? Who just like they do not get along with Tenzin, and he can't understand why. Okay, and then they you know, they tell him, it's like, you know, Dad treated you like.
This is a grand example of a protagonist of a previous series having children and being a bad dad that makes sense without ruining the character.
Exactly, because like he treated him different because he was an airbender.
And he was also the fact that Aang grew up in air nomad society, and collectively the entirety of the monastery raised the kids. Like you had a guardian, and the guardian focused on like one kid. So Aang did what he was taught.
Exactly. And so it's like, yeah, Aang was not a good dad to his other two kids.
Tenzin.
To Tenzin.
But Boomy
and it doesn't ruin, because like Katara really focused on those two. Yep. Because obviously Aang didn't. Yeah.
Well, also Katara was mom
and it just
made everyone on the planet.
Yeah. And Katara's like it makes you feel really bad for Boomy, especially.
Yeah, because he was a non-bender.
And like, he's the oldest. He's a non-bender.
Yeah.
And he's named after one of Aang's best friends. Yeah. And it's like, I can't imagine, especially for Aang.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how hard that must have been.
I think Boomy made it hung out a lot with Uncle Sokka.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, 100%.
How do you deal with
But
this?
like, I can't imagine how hard that must have been for Aang, because like his first child.
Yeah.
Ended up being a non-bender.
Not even a waterbender.
Not even just a non-bender. And then his second child ended up being a waterbender. And then his third child finally ended up being an airbender. And so it kind of
overcompensated.
It overcompensated.
Like, oh my god, you're an airbender.
Exactly.
Because you can't understand the amount of pressure.
And then Tenzin had 4 airbending kids.
Like Aang had probably so much pressure on himself to have an airbending child.
Exactly.
So when he went to he had 2, and he's like, they're not airbenders. You know, he spent up so many nights talking to Katara about this stuff. He's like, our kids aren't airbenders. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know, there's that season 2 ending whenever Korra opens up the spirit world, and airbenders get brought back, and Boomy becomes an airbender, which is great, and I love it.
So it's like the whole thing where it's like now Tenzin and him have to have a different dynamic.
Yeah.
They just build something between them because they didn't have anything before.
Exactly, and it actually leads to a lot of good moments between Tenzin and Boomy, and I like that. Like, there's so much good character work in the show.
But I think
the problem is
the day-to-day stuff.
No. The character work is great in the show. The problem is
The villains.
No, the main characters, because like they have the worst chemistry with each other, like in general. Like, with the exception of what's his face, Bolin, all of them suck. Like, Bolin is the only one, and even Bolin has his like shitty moments, like whenever he's working for the the movies and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually kind of funny to watch, but like then it gets like really.
Bolin just becomes the punching bag.
Exactly.
And not in the same way that.
And it sucks because Bolin is fucking great. Like, I love Bolin as a character. He's the best of the main group.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I find Korra incredibly cool.
Yeah.
And hot. But
I think honestly she was the Avatar we needed after Aang.
Oh, definitely, because she's very hard-headed.
Personality type, she's a bruiser, she's a brawler, she likes fighting, but she's still like fun and cheerful. She still cares about her friends more than anything else. Like, this whole thing about her, she's headstrong like Aang was. She's very set in her ways like Aang was, but like
very much like fight first, talk later.
Exactly. And then you had Tenzin, who was a really great mentor for her. Like, and you had Lin Beifong, who also worked as like an antagonist, but also as a mentor. Like, there's so much about season 1 that I love because they had so many great dynamics with Korra. The problem I think they had was they focused too much on trying to set up romantic relationships that did not need to be.
Yeah.
Because yes, Avatar: The Last Airbender had relationships. Here's the thing. Oftentimes, they were crushes that didn't get settled until later.
I think it's settled until the end of the fucking series.
The longest lasting relationship was Suki and Sokka, and they met once in season 1, and then rematched up in season 2, and she was gone again, and then eventually they got together and stayed together in season 3.
Yeah.
The second most longest lasting relationship was Zuko and Mei.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic, and I didn't know I wanted it until I had it.
Exactly.
I know they dropped a hint that Mei liked Zuko in her first episode. I was like, seeing Zuko again will be interesting. Won't it, Mei? And she smiles. She turns to the side and smiles, like, oh, perfect. But like,
and here's the thing.
You had Aang and Katara, which was like mostly one-sided on Aang's part for a long time.
Here's my biggest thing. I think
anyone who shipped Katara and Zuko, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with Legend of Korra is it wasn't made for kids. It was made for teenagers. Because I think Legend of Korra was made for people who watched Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid.
Yes. Here's my thing.
And that's a problem.
No, it's not. You can do that well.
Yeah, you
I have
can.
proof. Ben 10 and then Ben 10 Alien Force.
Yeah, that's fair.
Until studio intervention.
Yeah, exactly.
Season 1 and 2 of Alien Force was great.
Season 3 was a piece of shit. And Omniverse sucks.
It's like you need to age a show with your audience.
Exactly.
Your goal is to maintain.
And have you seen it that Avatar: The Last Airbender now has like a 5-year plan for like new shows like the MCU, new shows, new movies, all coming out. Live adaptations of the first of the 3 seasons. They're doing the next Avatar, like the next Avatar after Korra.
I think that's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Personally,
but,
I think that's fine.
They're doing the next Avatar after Korra. They're releasing a mini series of the adult years of Aang and his group.
I think that's also a good
which
idea.
is great. The live action adaptations I am actually excited to work for because the original writers are a part of it. Instead of like
It's not necessarily.
It's not necessary, but like if you look at the plan,
wasn't it the same crew for Legend of Korra as Avatar? Pretty sure it was the same people, and they still didn't do that
well, most of them, but not all of them. But here's the thing. If you look at the plan, it seems like it's kind of hinging off of the live action for the first season at least. Because like they probably just need the funds.
This is Nickelodeon. There's like
they need to prove.
I think they're going into that with the wrong priority though.
What? No, it's not them. It's probably the studio.
That's what I'm saying.
Being like, if this fails,
Nickelodeon
yeah,
has the wrong priorities going into it. They're banking on this making. This was the problem with them announcing. They shouldn't have announced it. They should have made these plans quietly, soft launched, get the response, and then if it did well, then release the 5-year plan. Now everyone's expecting you to fail.
Yeah. Because I'm going to watch a live action adaptation because it's like, I'm not against a live action adaptation.
As long as M. Night Shyamalan with Ding Dong
is not anywhere near it.
Spearheading the group.
Yeah.
Something that baffles me. He's like, he said he was a fan of the show, and then I watched it. I'm like, you did not watch the series.
No, clearly not.
What the hell? Anyway,
okay, moving on to the next show is a show that I could not care about. I watched it as a kid. I actually did when it came on. I was just like, oh, well, this. And then like I'll be like, oh, I like the next show that's about to come on, so I'd watch it. Robot and Monster.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a show about a robot and a monster.
Gathered.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not important. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
3D CGI one?
Yep, 3D CGI one.
I watched, I think, 3 episodes.
I watched a season. Nothing to say.
Didn't care.
Moving on. Monsters
vs. Aliens?
Monsters vs. Aliens, the show.
Why do they keep doing that?
What?
Like, just, like...
DreamWorks?
Yeah, just like making their movies into TV shows.
It was whatever. I didn't really watch it.
Never seen it.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't even know it. I that's probably one of those things where it's like...
We're moving on to...
I've been told that before, but why? And then forgot.
We're moving on to the era of Nickelodeon where I was just like, I was done.
Yeah. Like,
for the most part. You know, Sanjay and Craig.
I don't know what that is.
Breadwinners,
Never seen it.
Harvey Beaks,
Yeah.
Bunsen is a beast.
I feel like we're skipping things. Like Mr. Meaty was definitely on Nickelodeon. It's like that puppet show about the guys in the food court.
This is animated shows.
Oh, so it's insane. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna. All right.
Bunsen is a beast. Welcome to the Wayne. The Adventures of Kid Danger. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I've never seen it.
I've seen it.
I'm sure it's fine.
I've seen episodes. I've seen that scene where they were fighting Crane.
Yeah.
And that is a beautiful scene that actually kind of drove me to tears.
Like I'm sure I would like Rise of the Ninja Turtles. That's one of the things I judge every TMNT thing by its own merits, and I try to compare them with each other.
Well, one of the scenes that really sticks out in my head is I've seen scenes of it, and one of the biggest ones that I absolutely love, and what made me want to watch the show, is the scene. It was they're fighting Crane, right? And he's a big bad in this one. Like he's an actual major threat, right?
Just, like,
and he's
punching bag.
no, he damn near, like, he is destroying the turtles, like hardcore destroying them. You know, you have April fighting, Casey's fighting, all of them are fighting against Crane, and they're like, we can't defeat him. And so like their weapons have like abilities in Rise, right? So like Leo can like throw his swords and teleport to his sword, right? So that's a power.
I thought his power was he can cut like portals through dimensions.
Yes, he can.
Oh.
Okay, so like he does that, cuts a portal, different dimension. Him and Crane go into it, right? And he's fighting Crane. And he's like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. And then he's like, basically,
the whole Leo leader thing.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, we can't defeat him. I can put him in here. So he basically tackles Crane into the portal, right? And forces Casey to close the portal, leaving himself with Crane in this dimension by himself with no way out, because he threw his sword to teleport one of the brothers out. I can't remember which one. So he's stuck here
I would
with no weapons.
For dramatism's sake, I would say it's either Mikey or Raph.
Probably, I think it was Raph.
No offense to Donnie, but like,
Yeah.
like for that moment specifically, it makes
And
sense.
so he saves him, and he has no way out.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's stuck here with Crane, who's now pissed off.
Probably gonna kill him.
And probably gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And it's just such this like, and it's such this epic moment that I'm just like, I have to watch this show.
Like I said, I'm sure it is a good show. Like I've seen nothing so far that's a deal breaker, and each TMNT thing is like slight variations on the same premise.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, that's a formula for success. I mean,
Look at Scooby-Doo.
I feel like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of those shows that you could keep just remaking in different iterations as times change with different ideas and places. Because it's like it's for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That premise just lasts.
So since there's not much to talk about there, we'll keep moving on. So you have Middle School Mongols and then Casa Grandes, which is like,
No idea.
Next up is live action.
I'm saying the first thing's gonna be all that.
No, The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
No idea.
No idea what that is.
Before my time.
Hey Dude.
Before my time.
Welcome Freshman. Clarissa Explains It All. You know what? We'll just move on.
A lot of live action stuff that. I feel like Nickelodeon had a lot of live action stuff before eventually transitioning into animation.
No, they came out at the same time.
What?
1991. Yeah, so it looks like Nickelodeon started in 1991.
Oh, well, it probably was I think it was like a.
We'll move on to something that I think we'll know.
Universal Studios.
Uh,
I know all that.
Where's all that?
My sister watched that a lot.
I don't see all that.
I think
that's Nick at Night. I think that's Nick at Night.
It
might be under its own section. Yeah. So the first one of these that I think we would actually know is 2004.
Well, wait on, read a couple before that. Like,
My Brother and Me, Keenan and Kel.
I've heard of Keenan and Kel.
Okay.
I know exactly who they were. I've never seen it.
Cousin Skeeter.
No.
100 Deeds for Eddie McDowd.
No.
The Brothers Garcia.
No.
Noah Knows Best.
No.
Taina.
Nope.
Romeo.
Nope.
Drake and Josh.
There you go.
January 11th.
I heard of one of those.
January 11th, 2004. Came out just before my 4th birthday.
You recognize one of those? Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Interesting.
Drake and Josh. Okay, so I've rewatched Drake and Josh at least 3 times through its entirety.
It's one of those examples where it's like Josh Peck hitting puberty in that show made the show better.
Yes.
Because it made his comedy so much better.
And it made his voice so much better.
Because he grew like 7 inches. So
Yeah, it's like, and you know, and then Josh, you know, he started losing weight like midway through that show.
I think it's funny how we were talking about him already, and then John.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like he kept the same character, almost like tweaked slightly, got more of a backbone with Drake. But I definitely think it helped because like the squeaky delivery of some of his lines are like.
Oh yeah, because he's supposed to be like this ladies' man, you know.
That's Drake.
No, I'm talking about Drake.
I'm talking about Josh.
Oh, my bad.
No, like Drake, like his was much smoother transition. Josh,
no. Well, here's my thing. I like one of my favorite relationships in like live action shows was actually Josh and Mandy.
I actually don't remember Josh and Mandy's relationship very well because I know Josh and Mandy.
Well, it flowed smoothly throughout the show. Yeah. Like it wasn't like immediate. It was something that got built up.
Yeah, because I think so. Because Josh was actually like Mandy and Drake were the siblings, and then Josh was the one that got brought into the family dynamic, right? Correct? Wrong? I feel like Drake and
Mandy.
I'm thinking of somebody else. What was her name?
Megan.
Megan, Mandy.
Megan! Yes, Josh and Megan were siblings, and Drake got brought in.
Yeah, okay, and then Mandy's who was a science fair rival, right?
Yes.
There we go.
And she ended up dating Josh.
Yes.
Now, I think they end up breaking up, but like, which I hated. But like their relationship build up was great, and them being in a relationship was great, and then Mandy hating Drake was great.
Yes,
it's like
it was one of those things where she was standing up for Josh, and like
exactly, and I loved it.
Drake would treat him like that.
And she, dude, I fucking hate Megan. I kid you not. There were times as a kid where I wanted to reach into that television and just beat the shit out of Megan.
Which is a good thing Miranda Cosgrove like had other roles, otherwise like she would just been typecasted.
I know, like, because
I love her.
I love Miranda Cosgrove and iCarly.
In Drake and Josh, she's like
like I fucking hated, dude, because
the best thing about her in that show was the interesting meme.
Yeah, or okay, boobs.
Boobs.
I just like I like Megan as a villain.
Yeah.
As an antagonist.
Yeah.
But like
as the sister,
I fucking hated her so much. Like, cause like this is like I have never known. Like I know evil sisters. I've never known something this evil.
Yeah, no.
Like it is like this is and like this isn't even real.
This like Stewie Griffin levels of evil.
Exactly.
But like not an infant.
Like because it's like it's not even realistic.
No.
Like at all. Like every other character in their extreme is realistic. In general. She's just like so unrealistically, just genuinely chaotic evil or
sadistic,
malicious, does not care, like just wants to see people tortured.
It's funny.
Like,
I feel like she mellowed out and became more realistic as the show continued. Like initially, she was a lot more like maniacal and like
Yeah, it was just like horrible. Like leaving her brothers trapped in a fucking treehouse.
Okay, that one I will state, because I remember the full context of that one, which was basically Josh had a model rocket, and Drake and him were messing with it in their room, and Megan came in and was talking to them about it, and then basically it shot out the window and lit the neighbor's treehouse on fire. So as a punishment, basically it said that they had to build a new treehouse.
Yeah.
But honestly, Megan really wasn't really very much involved in that. And also,
No, I'm talking about later in that episode where they're like, hey, Megan, help us. And then instead of helping them, she doesn't tell anyone and starts cooking food in front of them when they're fucking starving from being in a treehouse all day.
That's what I'm saying, is the idea of because she missed her friend's birthday party because of this. And they were like, well, we get to go to see our date. Haha, sucks to be you, Megan. You should go to our date with the hot twins. So Megan's like, yeah. I'm gonna make you ride.
I just fucking hate Megan.
Oh, that specific context, I think, Megan kind of was justified. Other ones, not so. The other one, big episode of Rick and Josh that I remember was, when they got, tricked into selling, George Foreman grills. And they started, making a ton of money and buying stuff. When the police came in, and so, oh, this gentleman here, you were selling his grills. So, just give him the money. He's like, we don't have the money. So, what'd you do with it? We bought things. Instead of, just going in and just taking things out of the room and stuff like that. He's like, the chair? No, please, no, not the chair. Have you sat in it? Yeah, keep the chair.
No, okay, so there's two.
Also another one, the game, one with Drake, addicted to fast food, and Josh addicted to video games.
That's one I was about to bring up. That is one of my favorite episodes. So it's Drake is addicted to sugar, and Josh is addicted to video games, and they make that bet that they make the bet, and then the parents join on the bet, and they're like, whoever loses, they will have to die. What?
Flips page.
Their hair pink. Okay.
And Drake's the smart one.
And he just puts on a fucking wig. So that episode always sticks out of my mind. And the episode where they're playing pool, and Drake plays pool, and then Josh joins in, and they make a bet they play for money. And then
he starts sharking.
Yeah, exactly. People.
There's more elaborate term than sharking.
You start lying, and then Josh ends up hiring those two guys to come up with it, and absolute brutes, and scare the shit out of Drake.
But they were members of Josh's acting troupe.
Yes, it's fucking fantastic. Yeah. I love it.
I didn't remember that episode until he started explaining. I was like, oh, yeah.
And then you had Spencer, who was not Spencer. He was Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve. Sorry for my erratic screaming.
And the dynamics in Drake and Josh were always just one of those, every single character. One of my favorite episodes, actually, is the episode where it's fucking storming outside, their dad gets stuck outside doing the news report, doing the weather report, and they're all stuck.
My camera's just a tripod.
I've been wrong. And then they're all stuck in their house.
Yeah.
And then they start doing the wee. Just fucking. Yeah, exactly. No copyright, but you know.
It's like back in my day we didn't have electricity. Yes you did.
Exactly.
Well, not to get sure. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not. Next one.
September 12th.
Oh,
September 12th, 2004. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
I loved Ned's Declassified. See, that's an example of a kid.
Excuse me, what?
Romance. What?
I didn't realize Zoe 101 came out after Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, but Ned's Declassified was a show that when it came on, I would change channels.
Aw, it was so good.
I just didn't care. It's not that I thought it was bad. It's just I would rather be watching something else.
Ned's Declassified I thought wasn't very good because it was funny, because it was a show about it was about giving kids advice to do better in school, but not in a demeaning way.
Yeah.
Oh, kids, maybe you should study. No, it was here's some actual tips that could potentially make it easier for you to do your homework. how to make Monday suck less, how to survive school lunches, what to do when there's a teacher that you don't like and stuff like that. And there was a lot of absurd, but freaking the janitor was the same guy who voiced Cosmo in Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh.
Yeah. He also was Buddha Bob in Big Time Rush.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that actor carried because there's one he was still Cosmo.
He was a great actor.
He was Cosmo, so Fairly Odd Parents was still going.
Yeah.
They wanted to use other stuff because Nickelodeon wants to stay with actors by using the same 3 in every single show.
Yeah. Another show that came out on the exact same day was
Zoe 101 is annoying. Is that the next one?
No, it was Unfabulous.
Okay.
So Zoe 101.
Zoe 101.
I actually like Zoe 101.
I did. I know that's the starring. I think that's the acting debut of Victoria Justice. But I could not give a crap.
I don't remember anything about the show, but I remember liking it.
That was one of the shows that my sisters watched. Well, maybe one watched it, and I think that was enough reason for me to not watch.
Also, that one?
Yeah, but also the whole thing where it's I would catch episodes here and there. I'm like, this is stupid. The episode the one I remember actually liking was the one where it's they were doing robot fighting or whatever, and their nerdy smart friend they insulted earlier, so she wouldn't help them.
Yeah.
So they had to go to another smart guy to build a robot for them, and yada yada yada.
Yeah. So next up is Mr. Meaty. I don't know what that is.
I think that's the one I was talking about with the puppets and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
That show was weird and gross, and I didn't like it.
Okay. Just for Kicks.
Nope.
Just Jordan.
Nope.
The Naked Brothers Band.
That was a weird one.
That was a very weird, because it's like the Jonas Brothers, but kids.
But it was Big Time Rush before Big Time Rush. But
yeah, but also
with children.
Also, I thought the name was weird because it's they're kids and they're the Naked Brothers Band. I know their last name is Naked, but
also
yeah, it's but it was just always weird to me.
It was a weird show.
Because it just felt like kid Jonas Brothers. Because at the time it was the Jonas Brothers were big.
Yeah.
It's it just felt like kid Jonas Brothers. Because I just never really cared, Next up is iCarly, September 8th, 2007.
iCarly, I enjoyed it.
I fucking loved iCarly. It's
kind of hard for me to rewatch iCarly because some of the humor isn't playing for me anymore.
I recently rewatched the entirety of iCarly in order to prepare. Now, recently meaning 6-7 months ago, in order to prepare to watch the new reboot of iCarly, which I gotta say, this is, obviously it's Paramount, so it's not really the same, but definitely worth the watch. Can get a little, some of the characters, two of the characters specifically, the 2 new characters, I do not like. But there's moments, because Fred has a daughter, and she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And but there's moments where you can tell she really does love her dad.
Yeah.
But she's kind of a bitch.
Very, very.
And Carly's new friend that's not Sam, I just hate her character.
Because that Jenna McCarthy she was doing her own thing. So
she was just doing her own thing, so she didn't show up. So it's not even
It's funny. It seems like every time they try to do a revival for a show, there's always one character they're missing. When they did Full House,
Spencer,
they couldn't get either of the freaking Olsen twins to come back.
Now Spencer, fucking great. I love him. He's still just as good as he was in the original series.
Well, because he was already an adult in the original series.
Yeah, so he's still just as good as he was in the original series, and and he's a successful artist, in
because that was his arc.
In the remake, so it's he's rich.
I mean, if a banana duct taped to a wall can sell for millions of dollars, some of Spencer's.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I guess this just turned into the reboot, talking about the reboot, but
yeah.
In my honest opinion, one of the biggest problems that I have with the show is the new characters, which sucks because all the original characters are great, and Fred, I like Fred, he's great, and but there's this one scene that really drove me crazy, made me stop watching the show for a little while, and I don't know if I should talk about it on here because it could get a little political.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, let's just move on from it.
Like I said, the problem I have with iCarly, especially early iCarly, was I just didn't find it as funny. So
I still find it hilarious.
I think it got better as the show went on.
And I was still always for, and I fucking hated when they changed it. I was always for Fred and Sam. When Fred started dating Sam.
Freddie. In the original, it's Freddie. It becomes Fred. It's Freddy.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
It does.
When Freddy starts dating Sam, I liked it. And it worked. And I was hoping it would continue. But then they break up, and I fucking hated that.
Yeah, I feel like as the show started focusing more and more on like the romantic relationships between the trio, I was like, nah, stop.
I actually liked it. I liked it. It was great. Because like they had such a good dynamic while they were together. And it was fantastic. And they just break them up for no reason,
I don't know.
in all honesty.
I think it's because of audience backlash.
I don't know why.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
Freddie was not going to end up with Carly.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
But anyways, iCarly was a good show.
Lubert.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Lubert?
We don't talk about Lubert. I hated
With his
Lubert.
mole.
I hated Lubert. I could not stand looking at Lubert.
I think they were trying to do the whole thing with, like, ironically enough, like Crazy Steve.
Oh, yeah.
But like, oh my gosh.
So next
also,
up,
I think that's funny that they were. I think they were sort of like, ironically enough, I think they were trying to channel some of the Ned Declassified teachers and move them into like iCarly, but like in a worse way, unfortunately. Because the Ned Classified has some really, really interesting teachers. It's really interesting personality character dynamics. That worked in that show, and I think they tried to channel some of the energy for the iCarly teachers.
so next up we have True Jackson VP.
I started watching that show.
Never heard of it.
I did not dislike it. I don't think it gripped me enough to continue watching it. Because I remember one of the episodes being like, oh, we need to go after the fire safety code. And there was like a whole episode about that. And I'm like, oh, there was actual fire and nobody knew what they do. And like, what? Why?
Next up is The Troop.
Never.
Don't know. Next up is a pretty big one in both mine and Aaron's life. Big Time Rush. So, interesting story. This is a very interesting story about Big Time Rush. All right. I was a big fan of Big Time Rush when that show came out.
Yeah.
Big fan. Love that show. Could never tell my friends at school because, it was like, it was the girl show, because like, it was a boy band, but I loved it.
Yeah, but it was like not really aimed for girls, I don't think.
It wasn't.
I think it was aimed for boys and girls. Like,
Yeah,
like
but here's the thing. But as an elementary schooler, it's like, oh, you're not supposed to watch Big Time. But I loved it, secretly. Big Time Rush had this contest back in 2010 or 2011. I was in the 5th grade when this happened, so picture that as you will. I can't remember how old I was.
You were not in the 5th grade.
I was in the 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade.
2011?
So, yes, it was probably 2010 or 2011 is what I said.
I graduated in 2015.
Huh?
I graduated in 2015.
So 2009? It might have been the year they came out. I was in the 5th grade when this happened. And it's gonna... I know I was in the 5th grade when this happened. Because like, there's no doubt in my mind. In the 5th grade, they held a contest, right? They held this contest of like who would ever send in the most text, whatever. They would pick a random text, and they would go to that person's school.
Yeah.
So they actually came to my school and performed at my school when I was in the 5th grade in the cafeteria, and they did a whole concert there, and I got to meet Big Time Rush in person, and it was so awesome. Like, I was so ecstatic to get to meet them. And there was this super secret thing too. Like they came and no one knew what was going on, and it's like they shut down the whole school, and like, and we were in gym class and we're like, man, why is the school shut down? Why can nobody enter? You know what I mean? And it was like, but I could hear something happening in the cafeteria, and I heard a Big Time Rush song, and I was like, oh my god, is Big Time Rush here? Is that Big Time Rush? Are they here? And I was freaking out because like originally we were like, oh, it's the president of the United States, and I'm like, because we were kids, you know. Like, I was like, oh my god, it's
what else would be important enough to shut down an
exactly, So I was like,
modern day, it's like, oh, shut down the entire school. We hear things in another room. Maybe it's not something that's quite that nice.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, oh my god, it's Big Time Rush. So that's like, I was so excited to see Big Time Rush in person.
Yeah.
Because like, I loved their show. I loved their music. And there was like no point in the show, like the opening, the first episode was a bit meh for me.
Well, because it was the pilot.
Yeah, but everything after that, I was just like, I loved it.
It fell into the same pit trap that I think a lot of the live action Nickelodeon shows. It's like, as the show goes on, they start focusing more and more on romantic relationships. and it distracted from what made the show in the first place, which was the fun hijinks.
The fun hijinks between the 4 main characters and the music.
Well, there were relationships before that. You had Kendall and Joe. You had Logan and Camille. You had James flirting with every girl on screen, and then Carlos needing a girlfriend but never actually getting one.
Yeah.
That was part of the show. And then when Joe left because the actress left, and then Kendall lost her, and then another girl comes in and is oh my gosh, does Kendall date her or does James date her? I don't think that was very bad, but after she then left the show and then Joe came back and then Carl started dating one of the Jennifers, and I'm oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And then another show, the show after this, is another very important show in both mine and Aaron's life, I think. I know it's in mine, but
Victorious.
Yeah. Victorious, yes. I was a big fan of Victorious, coming right off of Big Time Rush.
That was an interesting thing, is Victorious and then Big Time Rush and then iCarly being all at the same time.
Yeah, around about.
Yeah, well,
within 3 years of each other.
Well, you said Victorious came out after Big Time Rush.
Yeah, in 2010.
Yeah, but I remember there being a distinct crossover between iCarly and Victorious.
Yes, iCarly came out in 2007. Victorious came out in 2010.
Yeah, so I remember the crossovers.
Yeah.
So an idea of a 3, because that was something that I know Disney did a lot, with a bunch of crossovers between their shows, and Nickelodeon did it a lot more sparingly. They'd only do with 2 shows, whereas Disney would do 3 to 5 shows. Oh my god. All at once. So I felt it would have been an interesting one. Would have been iCarly,
Big Time Rush,
and
Victorious. Yeah, that would have been very interesting.
Yeah, because Victorious, we're going to performing arts school. It's oh my gosh, you're Big Time Rush. You're a band. It's yeah. It's where'd you study? Oh, we didn't. We just got discovered.
Yeah.
And then Carly is oh, can you perform on our show? It's oh, we're gonna have a battle of the bands, Big Time Rush versus. And you voted home. And they could actually brought that in the actual viewers that could voted.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah. No, but Victorious was one of those things where it's a lot of the character dynamics between the girlfriend and the boyfriend and that. I can't remember.
Jade and Boy.
Yeah, Boy.
Boy.
We're brothers. Mother's got some explaining to do.
Well, things apparently Victoria Justice and that actor are really good friends in real life. Which is interesting.
Yeah, but
I only know that because there were these mini documentaries about Victorious and Big Time Rush that I didn't watch, but I caught that bit. It's Victoria Justice's best friend is a guy. What? So I was okay, and
so after this,
she was such a bitch though.
After
that
this,
was a fun way. I thought she was just a bitch. And then Kat was just so extremely what the fuck.
Which was the start of Ariana Grande,
yeah.
And it's just she looks nothing like she did back then.
Very, very distinctly different.
Very.
Completely different.
For one, she's not white anymore.
Even though she was very clearly old.
She was fucking white.
She was a redhead.
Yeah, she was white in the original series. And it's so crazy looking at her now. It's she's a totally different person.
Her voice is the exact same.
Yeah.
If you look at the cover, what?
And that was the thing, is I kid you not. So as a kid, right? Now this show came out in 2010. Now as a kid, I was
We just skipped over the ventriloquist. We didn't even talk about it. It's oh, Victorious. Moving on.
No, Victorious. I'm still talking about.
Oh, you
Victorious.
are? Oh.
Yes. No. When it came out, right? So back then, I had a really particular attractiveness to certain voices.
Very particular attractiveness.
Attractiveness to certain voices.
You were attracted to certain voices?
Yes, I was attracted to certain voices.
Okay.
And her voice, Kat's voice, was one of them.
Kat's voice? Okay.
Yeah, the voice that she had, that high pitch, just.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah, that high pitch, dunce voice. I just.
Oh yeah. Is that the reason why you like Luna so much? Is that ooh?
I guess. Because I don't know why I like Luna so much, but I had a major crush on Luna as a kid.
Luna Lovegood from the Harry Potter movies, for anyone who's curious.
Yes, Luna Lovegood. I had a major crush on her.
Her name is Lovegood, right? That's her last name?
Yeah, Luna Lovegood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Luna McLovin. I'm
my name is McLovin.
She's friends with Dr. McDreamy.
That's an actual character in Grey's Anatomy.
Well, that's his nickname. That was his actual name.
Okay, so next up is a bunch of shows that neither one of us care
We still
about.
skipped over Robbie, though. We ventriloquist guy.
Robbie's not important.
No, it was like, is Robbie the ventriloquist or is that his name of his dummy?
I think Robbie's the ventriloquist.
Okay.
I don't care about either of them.
That was a really weird choice, though.
Yeah, just the whole thing.
Like, personality.
I get like the whole puppet guy thing because they're in an acting school.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like the puppet.
Also,
I like Robbie. I don't like the puppet.
I don't remember his name, the actor's name, the one that played the musician. Like, because he like started in like Harley as like a guest star, and like transitioned to actually being like part of the main cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a talented dude. I do not know what happened to him.
Yeah. What else we got?
Also,
So next
they had
up,
a weird episode where like, they were like ripping on like the Breakfast Club or whatever. I'm like, how many kids watching this had any idea what the hell was going on? Because I didn't know what was going on until my eldest sister walked in the room and was like, oh hey, they're doing a thing. And I'm like, what?
I don't think either one of us care about any of the rest of these shows, but I'm gonna keep naming them.
Well, list them. Yeah, list them.
Yeah. Okay. Super Ninjas. Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures. How to Rock. Marvin. Sam and Cat.
Oh my god. That was
yeah.
announced. I was like, why?
Why?
I mean, I know why, but like, that was the one I think that they had just the least
chemistry.
Not just chemistry, but like the actual idea for the show. Because like Drake and Josh they're literally two characters pulled from the Amanda Show. Victoria Justice was in Zoe 101, and they gave her a show.
Miranda Cosgrove was
iCarly.
in Drake and Josh and got iCarly.
And
Spencer.
Yeah.
Crazy Steve. Jerry Trainer.
Yeah. Like, these are all actors that like were part of one show and then migrated to another show. I think the issue was they grabbed the actresses and put them in a new show.
But the same characters.
But they kept the characters, and they weren't characters that made sense to actually go together.
Yeah.
Because Sam...
And that would have been funny, because
Sam would have just murdered Cat.
If they had kept those characters the same, if Sam and Cat would have been canon, right? When they did the iCarly reboot, they would have had to, like, you know, mention that time that Sam was with Cat.
Here's the thing, though. I think that is still technically canon, because it's something like Victorious is canon to the iCarly universe because it was a crossover.
Yeah.
So, like, that was... And it's also, like, Janet McCartney didn't, like, actually kill him. Yeah. Not the reboot, the continuation.
Yeah.
Really matter.
It's a reboot. Who cares?
Is it a reboot?
No.
Well, it's not a reboot. It's a continuation.
Then you have the Haunted Hathaways, which I've heard of. I don't care. The Thundermans, which I've seen and I hate. Every Which Way. Henry Danger. Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn.
What the hell?
You've never heard of Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn? It's dumb.
That sounds like something that came out in the 90s.
Yeah, I know it does. Max and Shred.
Nope.
100 Things to Do Before High School.
Yep.
Bella and the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Make It Pop.
Yep.
Talia in the Kitchen.
Yep.
Game Shakers.
Yep.
Wits Academy.
Yep.
School of Rock. Which is a show based on the movie
yeah.
that doesn't have Jack Black.
It's funny, I feel like we were able to hold on to the cartoons for a lot longer. And then
Yeah, and now we're just like, what the fuck is this?
We don't know anything from the beginning, and we don't know anything in the modern.
Yeah, no, it's like...
Well, because that was just me.
I was so excited for School of Rock when I heard about the show.
And then it's Jack Black.
And this doesn't have Jack Black.
That's two things that Jack Black was in that when it came to Nickelodeon, he was not.
And I fucking hate that.
That's probably because I couldn't afford him, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
Also, he was very busy. Like, he's a busy guy.
yeah. So you have The Other Kingdom, Legendary Doodahs, Night Squad, Starfalls, Cousins for Life, Side Hustle, Drama Club, The Barbarian and the Troll, Warped, Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder. Which is a live-action Fairly Odd Parents show that they're making now. Yes. It just came out last year.
Is next Nick and Night or Nick Jr.?
Next is Drama.
Oh god, we're gonna have none of these.
I don't know what any of these are. We're gonna skip it.
Well, okay, let me peruse real fast if I recognize any.
The Third Eye, 15, Space Cases, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, The Journey of Alien Strange, Animorphs, Caitlin...
Animorphs! Yes! That was based off a book series I read. Never actually watched the show.
Okay.
No, but I knew it was a show, and I never knew where it was. Like I never could find it. Like there's like the olden days of YouTube. Like,
1998.
Trying to find. Well, that's the thing. It's like.
Well, it's probably on Paramount because it's a Nickelodeon show.
I would need you to watch that with me because I don't know if I had.
Okay.
I don't know if I had the strength.
I can look this up right now.
Oh my god! He's like Animorphs. It's gonna be bad. Like I know for a fact it's gonna be bad. By K.A.
You need someone to make fun of it with?
Yes.
Oh my god, this looks fucking awful.
Yeah, because it's a book about aliens invading the planet and other aliens giving humans the power to transform.
It's on Amazon Prime Video for free.
Oh my god. I'm gonna Lord give me strength.
We're gonna have to watch that now.
Because one of the main characters is an alien who has the body of a deer with a scorpion tail, a human torso, 7 fingers on both hands, no mouth, a snake-like nose, and then 4 eyes, 2 on the front of his
look at
face,
the images.
Yeah,
It just looks awful.
Because that's the book. That was from the books. Because every single book cover was one of the main characters transitioning into an animal that was important. Yes.
That looks terrible.
The books. I read the books.
Okay. So moving on.
And you know me growing up, I didn't really read. So
yeah,
I read these books.
I'll definitely watch it with you.
Yeah.
we'll do a whole podcast.
I never read the entire series because I was limited to what was available in the library. So like I read like the first 15 books, missing a book here or there, and then I read the final one. So like it's a lot here I remember missing.
So then we have Caitlin's Way, House of Anubis, Dead Time Stories, I Am Frankie, and The Astronauts.
I knew one. There was one.
Game shows.
Oh my god, here we go.
Double Dare, Finders Keepers, Think Fast.
I'm just waiting for the Legend of Forbidden Temple. It's like
Make the Grade, Wild and Crazy Kids, Get the Picture, What Would You Do, Nick Arcade, Nickelodeon Guts. Man, all these were in the 90s.
Yeah.
That
was the era of the game show.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yep.
I've read.
Red Jaguars! Yeah! And if they didn't make it, Silver Snakes!
I don't know shit about it.
Oh, they would have like teams of 2. And they the Red Jaguars, the Green Monkeys, the Blue Parrots, the Purple Jaguars? Silver Snakes. I think there was another one, but I can't remember. My family would watch that periodically a lot. And so it would be an obstacle course first. And like, sorry, it wouldn't be an obstacle course. It'd be like an obstacle challenge.
I'm just gonna skip the rest of these.
One challenge, and then it would be a trivia thing where it'd be like he would read you a story, and you'd have to answer questions based upon the story you were just read. And the final one was like a big into the hidden temple, where you try to get the idol. I don't think anyone ever won.
Should I?
Keep reading.
Preschool.
Yeah, read.
Yeah, we'll go with preschool.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah. There's gonna be someone here that I've already seen that we can talk about.
Yeah.
1999, November 28th. Little Bill.
Little Bill.
Little Bill.
Little Bill.
Little Bill.
I'm just a
Bill
with
the big sleeping pill.
I'm gonna have a little time with Mama.
Oh shit.
Chris Ray Gun, you witty motherfucker. So, ignoring the big Bill in the room.
Yeah.
I never liked Little Bill, actually.
I never did either.
I kind of annoying.
Yeah, me too. So it's just Guy. I hated it. So I was like, yeah. Okay. August 14th, 2000.
It's like Little Bill and Franklin would come up all the time, at the same time.
Yeah.
I like Franklin way better.
August 14th, 2000. Apparently this show came out the year I was born. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was older than me.
Yeah.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dora.
I fucking loved Dora the Explorer as a little kid.
I remember Dora.
I loved Dora and Diego.
It's funny. It was so funny. You know, when I remember in middle school, elementary school, when people found out what "shut up" was in Spanish, so they started saying "Cállate." Yeah. It's funny because in the previous episode of Dora the Explorer, I heard "caliente" was hot, but I thought, guys, I was like, people are so stupid. Caliente doesn't mean shut up; it means hot. So I was the kid walking around.
I'm muy caliente.
But Swiper,
it was great.
As the show
it's a good kids show.
As the show went on, I think.
Have you seen the new Dora redesign?
Yes.
The
Dora teenager redesign
Yeah. It's very weird because it's like
kid.
yeah, child.
like I think the show definitely got better as it went on, which is rare. But like, because like they started like expanding the premise a little bit more, like they introduced like the stars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
like as a kids show, it is a great kids show.
It's a teaching tool. It's what it is.
And it is, and it's something that I will show my kids when I eventually have kids.
As long as the Spanish holds up.
Yeah, as long as the Spanish holds up. Yeah. Next up, we have. I feel like I should know what this is.
But,
like I feel like I remember this.
well,
Oswald.
Oswald. It's not Oswald.
It sounds familiar.
Oswald the rabbit, is it? Hang on. Let me look it up.
Oh fuck!
Keep up. Stay on the same page. Let me look it up.
I accidentally exited out. 1 second.
Oswald. It was the giant octopus, the blue octopus. I remember it.
Holy
Yeah,
dude, that's like straight up like that got pulled out of the fucking depths of my brain right there.
The name. It's like I hate to look. Yeah, but I watched Oswald.
Yeah, no, I watched Oswald as a kid.
The only one I can remember the premise of was when the penguin needed to get a haircut, and he was telling you all the reasons you shouldn't go to the barber, and the episode ends with him. You know what? No, I played Oswald games on Nick Jr. on the computer. I could not tell you what they were though. I heard the Oswald games were the best.
All right, and then you had my absolute fucking favorite kids show on Nickelodeon growing up. The Backyardigans.
Yes! Backyardigans was great.
We're your backyard friends, the Backyardigans. I think I messed up part of that, but it doesn't matter. Backyard! Like, I fucking... Every episode. Hard to explore!
It's fine. You can't get copyright claimed if you're just shit singing.
Yeah, exactly. No, because like Backyardigans, like every episode was a new adventure, and it's like it's a show that I could see myself watching even now as an adult.
It's funny, like the only it was Tyrone, Austin, Taniqua,
Pablo.
What was the name?
I don't remember the name of the hippo.
Yeah, I remember the name of the hippo. I heard Austin the kangaroo is my favorite because there was a kid in elementary school.
Pablo was my favorite.
There was a kid in elementary school who I thought was really cool, and his name was Austin, so I could just transfer him.
Just associated. Yeah.
The two episodes I remember are when they were Tarzan, but like there were three of them that were all Tarzan. I'm the Tarzan who talks to animals. I'm the Tarzan who's strong. I'm the Tarzan who doesn't talk very much. And the other one I remember was like, oh, I'm a reporter superhero called Super Snap.
Backyardigans was one of those shows that I freaking loved.
I thought the premise was fantastic.
As a child. And it came out when I was 4.
Yeah.
Like, so like, you know.
And it came out late enough for the 3D animation wasn't horrific.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. And then you had Go Diego Go came after that.
Oh,
so it's like,
God.
Go Diego Go was my go-to.
That was my go-to as well, because it wasn't just like Dora the Explorer, because it was about animals.
Yeah.
That was my big ticket.
Yeah, exactly. It was like animals.
It was the same reason why I loved the Crab Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was like
animals,
Zaboomba-Foo.
That's where I got my whale noise.
Oh my god.
Also because he had Baby Jaguar. And that's awesome. Also, apparently Diego had like a sister or a friend who was like older.
Wait a minute, Go Diego Go came out when you were like 7.
So?
Fair enough. Next up is Holly Hobby and Friends.
I
don't know what that is. But after that is another good one, March 1st, 2006, Wonder Pets.
Yes.
Wonder Pets, we're on our way. We're out save the day. We're not too big and we're not too tough. But if we work together, we've got the right stuff. Go Wonder Pets!
Yay! Because we have 2 men in their 20s singing that song, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it's better than when I do Little Einsteins, because
Little Einstein, I liked that one too. That was Disney.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that one.
But Wonder Pets was one of those shows where, like, the fucking way the show was made, like the anime.
It was very formulaic. Most of the episode was them singing the same songs.
Yeah, but like for some reason it just worked.
Yeah.
It just worked.
It was animals. That's why I was talking to animals.
Yeah, it was like a little turtle.
It was a turtle, a chick, and a hamster.
And a hamster. Now the chick was always my favorite because like it's.
Because it's a chick.
No. I just
the
thought.
hamster was my favorite because he's the leader.
Yeah. Hold on. Then you had. Ni Hao Kai Lan.
Ni Hao Kai Lan. I remember hearing about that when I was like I heard about.
It came out in 2008.
Because I was like,
it's like you were.
Is it Dora the Explorer, but like for Mandarin?
I never heard of it. Then I know about.
Ni Hao, but that is Mandarin. It's not Japanese, right?
I don't know.
Ni Hao. I think Ni Hao is Mandarin.
And then I've seen Team Umizoomi. Is the next one Team Umizoomi, and it it's a kid's show. Like I can watch it. I watch it with my cousin sometimes because he likes it.
I can't tell from the. I think it's Japanese.
Let me see.
I think it's Japanese.
Oh, that's definitely Japanese.
It's Japanese.
But yeah, actually, I remember
Because I couldn't
now.
tell from the art style. I had to keep zooming until I got like background stuff.
I remember now.
Preschooler Kai Lan.
Are we
shares,
racist?
No, preschool. No, hang on. It's preschooler Kai Lan shares Chinese and American culture with viewers, as well as the Mandarin language. So I was right originally. Then I doubted myself because I was like, "What American studio would allow Chinese propaganda?"
Right.
No, but yeah, Ni Hao Kai Lan. Yeah, language is Chinese and English. It's like it was. So it was a Chinese Dora the Explorer.
So Team Umizoomi came out the day after my 10th birthday.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, now you've told everyone your birthday.
Oh, why does it matter? Who
I
cares?
can get your information now. I can track you down. The knowledge is your mother's maiden name.
So yeah, Team Umizoomi.
I've never heard of that actually. I have no idea.
It's the one with like the little robot guy, and if I showed you a picture, you'd probably know.
You know what? I'm very embarrassed. It's like, oh, that's definitely Japanese. Like the Mulan, like, oh yeah, that's the exact same architecture.
I mean, I can edit that out if you want.
I'm
not.
No, we're not going to. It's the whole thing. We're like, oh yeah, that's definitely Japanese. I'm like, no, you idiot. Mulan, China, you idiot.
So the next of these I don't really know because they're like, obviously they came out after we were kids, so it's like, but I'll list them off anyway.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
Wally Kazam,
No.
Dora and Friends Into the City, which I think is the teenage.
I think
one.
that's when they did the redesign.
Fresh Beat Band of Spies, Shimmer and Shine, Nella the Princess Knight, Sunny Day, Butterbeans Cafe, and the Beat Buds Let's Jam.
Was Blue Clues not Nickelodeon?
I think that's considered live action. Live action preschool series.
Oh, okay.
Pinwheel,
Never heard of that.
which I've heard of, but I don't
Never
remember.
heard of that one.
Came out in 1977.
Jeez! That's older than like everything else on the list. What the hell?
Eureka's Castle, which came out in 1989.
Unfortunate name.
Nick Jr. Rocks, Allegra's Widow,
Alright. Weird name for a kid's show.
Gula Gula Island, and then in September 8th, 1996, came out Blue's Clues.
Right. I watched Blue's Clues a lot.
I fucking love Blue's Clues.
I was there for Steve, watched Transition to Joe, and then...
Yeah, that's about how I was with Blue's Clues. Like, I used to watch Blue's Clues. We used to have DVDs.
Joe start with like a green shirt, but then transition to wearing an orange?
Yeah, he did.
That was
I used to watch because we had these DVDs of Blue's Clues, and we had like one of those portable DVD players as a kid, and so I would watch them on trips. Anytime we went on a trip, I would watch Blue's Clues.
I felt Blue Clues got weird when they started making Blue like have those segments where she'd be like a live action puppet and would talk.
I don't remember this.
You're younger than I am.
I don't remember this.
You probably that was it happened.
I probably just like zoned it out of my brain.
They got rid of it.
Okay,
You
so
should watch you should watch the film theory about Mad Pat with Blue and Blue's Clues. That'll help. That might remind you.
Okay.
That might trigger. Did you know Blue's an alien? Yeah, that's the theory. Blue's an alien.
what?
Blues can do. We can't do.
Okay. Something
I forgot that was a thing until I watched that film theory. I was like, that's a thing that was in that show? I just remember Salt and Pepper having a kid Paprika.
I remember that being the big thing.
They have like 3 more kids now.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's a spice rack.
Yeah, obviously.
You have as many as you want.
They have Blue's Clues, Binya Binya, Blue's Room.
Blue's Room is that was the extension.
Yeah. The Fresh Beat Band. Nick
I don't
Jr.
know why you're like, the
Puppies.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What?
Yeah. The Fresh Beat Band. Nick Jr. Puppies, Mutt and Stuff, and Zufari, which all came out later. Programming from Noggin. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Noggin. I know Noggin. Read them off.
Alright. Fred on Your Head Show, A Walk in Your Shoes, Big Kids, On the Team, Spunk, Ubi.
Ubi! Oh, that's why I said Ubi. Because it's like a little hand with like eyeballs on it.
Oh, that's Ubi?
Ubi!
Okay. Okay, and then you had Spunk. I already said that. Girls v. Boys, Jack's Big Music Show, and The Upside Down Show.
The only one I remember is Ubi.
Ubi.
Because that's all they would say. They'd always say, Ubi. That's all he would say. And there would be like other hand puppets that would say different things too. And
I'm gonna.
It was weird. And if anyone wants to get themselves nightmares, drop some LSD.
I feel like we're missing some shit. Oh, former acquired programming. Oh, okay. So, I guess I'll go into Nick at Night.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was missing.
The George Lopez show.
Okay, so like, there's this theory. All right, this is an actual scientific thing that has like been proven, and I shit you not, it works. All right. So George Lopez, every single fucking time, and this is not just me. I thought this was just me.
Lopez theme show?
Yeah,
Theme song?
this is not just me. I thought it was just me until I've seen other people. Like, this is a true fact. Like, kids from my generation, right? If you play the George Lopez theme song at 3 a.m., it will wake anybody from my generation up at that time specifically. Like, I guess it's just like mental training, because every fucking night I accidentally left the TV on. I remember waking up in a cold sweat and then just seeing fucking George Lopez jump on my screen.
See, I am in your generation, but like I'm like the first of the generation. But I feel like that wouldn't work on me because that never happened to me.
Yeah, but it happened to me all the fucking
So
time.
like I think it's like everyone in the generation is like not everyone, but I understand the reasoning.
Like, I don't know how.
Also, I never watched the George Lopez show. I didn't care.
I didn't either. It just like, it woke me up. I started watching it because it's just like, I was already awake and it was on.
I have no problem with George Lopez. Like, and I just didn't care.
Man, where's the... Give me the Nick at Night shows here, please.
Is it a separate article?
It might be.
That's like... Well, it's like how they do like Cartoon Network versus Adult Swim. It's technically a different network, even though it's on the same channel.
I could consider them the same network.
Well, yeah, we're also talking about like Nicktoons, Teen Nick.
Yeah, because like, we haven't talked about all that yet.
We skipped it, didn't we? We skipped all that. We just jumped to Drake and Josh. The Amanda, we're seeing the Amanda show. Like the Amanda show was on Nickelodeon, definitely 100%, but like it wasn't on the list.
Apparently, Friends is on Nick at Night right now.
I mean, that makes sense.
And Mike and Molly.
I mean, that makes sense.
Former programming. I don't know what any of these are.
Friends, like Friends, it's fine.
I fucking
There are
hate Friends.
episodes that
Yeah, all that is Nick at Night. Yeah.
Friends, that I like Friends, it was fine. Mike and Molly, I think the premise is interesting, and I'm not. I think I watched like 7 episodes.
So I'll reach off some of these and we'll see what we know about. I hate Friends. I like Mike and Molly. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that because like I fucking hate Friends.
I mean, you were like a different generation.
Yeah, no.
I mean, like
My How I Met Your Mother all the way.
I like How I Met Your Mother more than Friends, but like I definitely think.
And fuck The Office.
My thing. I've never seen The Office. My thing is season 4 of Friends, and then onward.
Yeah.
Don't watch the first 2 seasons. I mean, you kind of have to for context, but like watch them once, and then you're going to rewatch Friends season 4.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have 1989 on the television.
On the television.
On the television.
On the television.
Hi, Honey, I'm Home.
I heard of that.
Yeah, me too.
I have no idea what it's about.
Inside TV Land. Family Face Off Hollywood.
Family Face Off, we're hearing about. Like,
The Search for Funniest Mom in America.
America's Funniest Home Video.
Right. Hijinks at the Pucciarellis.
Alright.
Bet the House. Actually, where the fuck was... Never mind. I was going to say something really stupid. Family Brain Surge is the next one. Hollywood Heights, See Dad Run, Wendell and Vinny, Instant Mom, Fatherhood, Glenn Martin, DDS. I don't know what the fuck that is. So programming from Nickelodeon. All of that, I never watched. Never seen it.
The sister watched it all the time. Like she when it, I think it's on Netflix. Like she watched like all 35 seasons or whatever ridiculous number.
How many seasons?
I don't think it's actually that number. It's just it's a big number.
Oh, they restarted it in 2020. Huh.
Gabriel Iglesias got a start in all that.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
And it's also Keaton Nickel and like some other actors. I think Amanda Bynes also got started on.
So then you have America's Most Musical Family. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which I did watch, you know.
I've never actually watched it.
Well, obviously. Yeah. I was terrified of it. I got nightmares from it.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yes, you made me so.
Yes. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
By Jeff Foxworthy?
Yeah, apparently.
Yay! I liked that one.
I love Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? The Barbarian and the Troll. The Crystal Maze. Danger Force. Double Dare. Drama Club. Group Chat. Henry Danger. Which sounds familiar.
That was on the list.
Yeah, it was. Apparently these are on Nick at Night too. This is weird because one of these is SpongeBob. It's Camp Corral.
What?
I don't know, man.
Somebody check these Wikipedia articles.
I think this is wrong because like Rugrats is on here. Actually, no, these are the ones that are currently airing on.
Oh,
Nick at Night. So it's like that wouldn't make sense.
The whole boomerang thing.
Yeah. Because SpongeBob SquarePants is also on here.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
But Nick at Night, you know, like a lot of people watch cartoons. They watched it as kids, like they're adults now.
Yeah. Acquired programming, go away. I hate that. I hate you. I don't care about you. Special cross promotional airings.
Okay, I want to say something, and like, audience, feel free to blast me. I don't care. Am I the only one who thinks game shows on TV is boring as fuck? The only good game show. I'll fight every single one of you at the same time for this. Is Family Feud. Every other one.
Okay, I was about to say.
Every single other one is trash.
Okay, so I shit you not. One of my favorite fucking channels growing up was GSN, which is Game Show Network.
Yeah.
Specifically because I would watch all of their fucking like marathons of Family Feud.
Because Family Feud's the only good one.
Exactly, like Steve Harvey. Like
yeah, Steve Harvey. And
I wouldn't watch Family Feud because they've had three different hosts in Family Feud. The first two I don't care about, but Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey's a fantastic.
I love Steve Harvey.
He's a fantastic host.
And so I used to watch the shit out. Like I would watch day-long marathons of nothing but Family Feud.
Yeah, because it's good.
It's fun and I love it.
See, like that's why, you want
all the other game shows I didn't really care
about. You want to have a good time. Look up Family Feud best answers.
I love doing that.
Name a yellow fruit. Orange.
Weed. And then Steve Harvey's reactions, because it's so funny when people bring up drugs or sex and Steve Harvey.
It's like, this is a family-friendly show. It's not my fault, y'all. I don't do this.
Just Steve Harvey, I just fucking love Steve Harvey.
I like the SpongeBob meme where it's like Family Feud when Soda gets an answer wrong. Other family, good answer. Good answer. 25.
I think that's it for
Nickelodeon
Nickelodeon shows.
It's like the only game, the only like all that and like Amanda.
I feel like we're missing some shows.
We probably are, but like if
we could talk about the movies.
If we cared enough, we would have.
Actually, that's probably what I need to look up next.
Or like Nickelodeon original movies.
Yeah, Nickelodeon movies.
Recording for almost 2 hours, though. I think we should probably cut it off.
Nah.
Because like it's almost 6 a.m. Yes, because we're eating.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like your other told me last night. I said, "Are you sure we can go to bed at like 4 a.m.?" Like, nope.
No, we just gotta make sure we wake up at noon.
I'm not getting up at noon. Fuck that.
I'll wake up at noon.
No, you won't.
I might.
I have an alarm for 2:40.
If I go to bed.
I think we should stop here.
All right then. This is interesting.
Look, because the only Nickelodeon movies that I remember that are worth talking about that aren't like
Barnyard, the SpongeBob movie, Jimmy Neutron,
which we've already talked about.
Yeah, Jimmy Neutron.
Everything else is like, nah.
Yeah, it's whatever. All right then. We've actually talked about this a lot longer than I was expecting to.
And we have 2 more that we have way more opinions on.
Yeah, so this is gonna be like 3-hour podcasts.
My.
Hey, but we did what we set out to do. We wanted to set out to make more long-lasting podcasts.
Yeah.
And that's actually our plan, in case I don't know if we said this at the beginning, but we actually plan on making more long-form podcasts because we're going to be uploading these once a month.
Yeah, like not necessarily as frequent. Like maybe if we manage to record a good number, they'll come out more frequently. But like right now, with our living situation and everything going on, like we wanted to record something, and like podcasts are nice and easy, and it's just talk.
So basically, just going to use this little last end of the podcast to give you all a little bit of an update on what we're planning for the channel.
Basically, the exact same amount of recording time, way less editing time.
Exactly. So we're going to be trying to upload one podcast a month is our goal.
And everything
is
above
one podcast a month. And if we just happen to be finished with one of the other videos that we're planning on making, then we'll upload it, and it'll be like a little treat. You know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna upload at least one podcast a month.
Yeah.
That is our goal.
Yeah.
Anything else is just icing on the cake, and we'll try to do some more Imbeciles of Gaming, but we're not making any promises on any of those.
The problem is like our main gaming PC is currently FUBAR.
Yeah.
So that's our limitation. Like that's the main reason because we're doing this off of a laptop. That's why we're doing the podcast.
Exactly.
Because we can.
Yeah. So, other than that, you know, we had a good time talking about Nickelodeon shows. You know, going back to our childhood and actually being able to like converse about it.
A good time and a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I remember our last podcast, we didn't really get to talk much about it
because we were
just
really
jumping
just
back and forth.
shotgunning through like every single show we watched as kids.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it was definitely good to be able to like sit down and talk about the shows.
Also allows us to like potentially come back to this, but like with a more focus on the ones we actually watched and cared about.
Exactly. So you know that's something we can do later on in the future. But until next time, guys, I have been Cody.
Cody.
Diggs.
Kodig.
I have been Kodig.
You forget your name.
Huh?
You forget your name.
Yes.
I am Aaron.
I am Kodig.
And I'm Aaron.
Bye.
From the haystacks unto the hilltops, we're going dancing.
Cracky.